And welcome everybody to Blue Otter League Platinum Division Otter Talk for the beginning of playoffs. Tonight we're going to be seeing on stream IG go up against Kraken of the Conduit branch. Will be an interesting matchup for that, but before we get into it, I'm joined by three guests this week. I got Big News, Noble Bark, and Wall Street tonight. How we doing, guys?
I
Great.
fought it.
Oh, we're ready.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me here tonight, getting ready for the start of playoffs or wildcard matches, IG, Conduit, and then Dorado versus Maelstrom. Some good games. Looking forward to see who ends up winning those, getting ready to see how the rest of this playoff bracket branches out. But we're going to jump into our predictions here to see where we all lie on these first round matchups, getting ready to see who's going to be going up against Monkeys, Knights, and Conduit Flux on the respective side of the bracket. So looking at our first matchup here, Dorado and Maelstrom going up against each other. I would say it's kind of obvious that we were all going to be in this Dorado camp, but I'm going to start with you, Wall Street. You're going for Dorado over Maelstrom here. Why are you favoring Dorado against Maelstrom Esports?
I don't think we've had much a chance to see Dorado's full strength here. Seeing that they've played against some of the stronger teams with previous iterations of their roster, but I don't think it's hard call to say that this should be a Dorado win. They've shown how good they are against, I would estimate, similarly powerful teams compared to Maelstrom, and I would expect them to play very strong against this team. I'd even go as far as say I'd be surprised if they dropped a single game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be a tough matchup for Maelstrom. They haven't won a single series since week 3 after they started off 3-0. Barely squeaked into playoffs, so now playing against this hot Dorado team that's been looking really good in the last couple of weeks. It's going to be tough, but Noble Bark, you're also going for Dorado. So what specifics are you looking for in them against this matchup that they have here tonight?
Look, Gabe got 40. You got 40 on Maelstrom. You've got God of Chaos. I think there's potentially an angle here. But I agree with Wall Street. This is 100% 3-0. Just gonna be an all-star performance from Dorado tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of people are predicting it to be a 3-0 in favor of Dorado here over Mespa. But Okina, big news. You're also a big fan here tonight for the Dorado Gaming Lambda. Why are you going for Dorado over Maelstrom?
Well, as much as I'd want to be a Piltover is better than Zon kind of guy, unfortunately, you mentioned Maelstrom starting out 3-0. They did get a schedule of playing the weaker teams in Piltover first and then ending the season just on a really, really rough stretch. And against all the teams that made the playoffs from Piltover, they did not do very well at all. So I'd like to see them be able to show what they could do against the playoff team, but as of right now, the data that we have on them is that they cannot hold up against other teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, and like you said, they had the 3 easiest weeks at the start and then played against the top teams of Piltover and then just didn't look as convincing. They did take a game off of SG Proton, but that is just classic SG Proton, honestly, always making series way closer than they need to be against teams that they shouldn't be having close series against. But like we said, I just think this Dorado roster, with the changes that they made, is just a super strong roster. They got Gabe Leo, everyone's playing 80 carry. Even with losing Ultimice, who didn't synergize well with the team, they still picked up a really, really good top laner, Narva, who did make BOL finals last season when he was on that misery team with Wall Street in that team as well. But I think Dorado is going to be a really strong team the farther they go into playoffs, and even Monkeys Knights might even struggle against them with a little bit of future forecasting, expecting Dorado get the win tonight. But now looking at our next series, our stream match of the night, it's Conduit Kraken going up against Imperial Gaming. Obviously, a lot of us are in the favor of Conduit Kraken winning this one, but of course, Noble Barth, the IG player himself, is rooting for his team. Noble, why do you think you guys are going to be getting the win here over Conduit Kraken?
on any given day, it's who shows up on game day, who's got the hands, whose brain is on fire. I think this is the path to victory. We dodged Dorado, we dodged Monkey Knights, we dodged the hard side of the bracket. This is the path to glory. This is the right side of the bracket. Yeah, we got last Dom picked up in the jungle. He's a demon. Luke's, paradigm shift. Lean's friend, that homeless dude that lived in his house for a little bit. We got a bunch of all-star players in all the roles. We're gonna take it.
I mean, that's the confidence you gotta have, as a lot of people are considering you guys to be the underdogs here. I mean, it's gonna be interesting this matchup tonight because you guys did make a couple roster swaps coming into this one. You now got Azure playing in that support role with Ziggy being the AD carry. Ziggy played great last week. I'm just not so sure about Azure playing in support, but maybe I'll get a different opinion on that after the series tonight. But big news, you're going for Conduit Kraken over Imperial Gaming. Why are you going for Conduit Kraken?
I mean, I look at Kraken's roster, and the first name that sticks out to me is Jesus Juice. I don't know how many people have seen Jesus Juice around the scene, but he used to be a player for Monkeys, and he always was top 2 jungler no matter what league he was in. And I still think he's that level of player. That he's just when you see, hey, I'm matching up against Kraken, that's the name that you're circling and making sure that you're getting scouting on and making sure that you have the right bands and the right tracking for him. So I think he didn't start the season with them, so it'd be interesting to see how they're kind of melding together and meshing together, moving Coach Silent K from the jungle to the top lane. But I think that's a big name to watch out for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the roster change of bringing bringing Jesus Juice in. He was out of the scene for a little bit, but coming back, he is a well-known player for the people who do know him. I remember playing against him in a couple of my first splits playing in Platinum, so I know what this player is capable of. And if he's able to get his game going, it's going to be really beneficial to Conduit Kraken. Wall Street, you're also a Conduit Kraken supporter here tonight. So why do you think they're going to be getting the win over Imperial Gaming here?
Yeah, when I looked at IG's roster to even make a prediction, I was only left with confusion, frankly. And these roster changes, I mean, I don't know if everyone knows what's going on or if I'm just the one who doesn't, but it just doesn't look like a healthy team. Uh, and it's hard to bet on a team that's kind of experimenting in playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be tough for IG, but also Kraken is coming in with a couple of roster swaps themselves. Crow isn't playing this week because their PC literally exploded on them, and the backup one they have is getting like 20 frames per league, so they're going to be having Sloth playing in the mid lane. And then the question is if Coach Silent K is going to be able to hold his own up in the top lane against Katori, and if Jesus Juice can get his gameplay going, because while I do think the changes for Kraken are good as a whole because it gives them another way to play instead of it just being Chrome Malone and Raven trying to carry every single game. Now that you have Jesus Juice, it does help your team have a second identity and a second point on the map that you could play for, where you're not as one dimensional. Teams can look to just counter that play. I do think that IG is going to be able to pick up a game here tonight, but I'm just hard favoring Conduit Kraken. Everybody knows I got my Conduit bias, the long running joke around here, but I just think they have the better individual matchups for the most part coming into tonight. But to look more on the stream series tonight of Kraken and IG, we got a couple of stats that we can show here and be able to talk about those a little bit. So looking at it overall, yes, their win-loss record is similar. It's only like the one game difference, but Conroy Kraken has the more close losses, taking series 2 to like losing series 1-2 or so on to be able to have more wins overall on the season. But looking at these stats as a whole, starting with you, Wall Street, what particularly is like sticking out to you on these stats here?
Well, I definitely have noticed two things. Um, First thing I notice is that Kraken gets first blood, not even most of the time, but a vast majority of their games, which definitely helps them put them in the driver's seat. That's exactly what you want against a team like IG, who tend to favor heavy scaling drafts. And from when we played them, they played very passively. Additionally, the second thing, pretty obvious, Noble Bark, one of the better players on the team. I know that having played against IG with Noble Bark, kind of hard to bet on them when he is now a reserve on their roster and they have someone else driving their top lane.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking on that, Noble Bark himself being the highest rated KP player and highest stat for a team that he is now a reserve on. What is sticking out to you on these stats here, Noble?
Yeah, that Noble Arc guy, he's a bit of a stinky guy. I don't know, man. There's a reason he's a reserve, you know. Uh, but I see a team who can take waves upon waves of pressure and still come out with wins. Yes, there are a bit of some roster situations happening, but I think there's a lot of spicy stuff that's going to happen tonight as someone who knows what's going on in the special sauce. And I would not immediately count IG out of this series.
All right, fair enough. Maybe the roster swaps are the correct recipe for this IG team to get the quote unquote upset win here. It's a 4 vs 5 seed, so a lot of people can see it going either way, but I think a lot of people are favoring the Kraken team. But maybe IG found the way to do it, getting rid of that stinker up in the top lane of Noble Bark and bringing in some better players, according to him. Debatable on that one. But now, Okina, what is sticking out to you on these stats here between these two teams?
So in Plat, you usually don't see, especially if someone's played a lot of games in the season, you usually don't see a KP as high as 67%, just because it's Plat. You know, there's going to be solo kills in mid lane, solo kills top lane, solo kills in the jungle. So to see a support at 67%, that tells you that Raven's doing a lot of work around the map during the laning phase and during the early objectives. To really have an impact on the game and get that kill participation up. So I expect to see Raven making a lot of plays and leaving lane quite a bit to try to get the rest of the map ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, Raven is one of these only returning player from last season's Conduit Championship winning roster to still be eligible to play in Plat League, the only one returning. And they are a super solid support. And sometimes this season it's been a little rough for her and Chrome in the bot lane just because they were such a one-dimensional teams. Players were just focusing all their attention on that bot lane. But even then, still getting all this KP and everything is a standout of how good of a support they are getting on the map and enabling the rest of the lanes that they're playing for. But I do think it should be close. I'm also getting some crazy information, but I won't drop any of that for IG's roster. Definitely not sure what's happening over there. But I think tonight the series should be interesting, and I'm super excited to be able to cast this one for the first round of playoffs. I can see World IG can get this one, but I'm still going to be a Conduit bias here. But before we wrap this up and get ready for the stream matches and let you guys get back to whatever you were doing, scrims or whatnot, I am going to give you guys the opportunity to get a couple of shout outs here. So why don't we start with you, Big News? Any shout outs you want to be giving?
Shout out to Monkeys Finals, Knights versus Construction. I'll see you guys in 2 or 3 weeks and be ready to watch that.
All right. Noble, any shout outs you want to be giving?
I want to give a shout out to Finney. Keep it on trucking, Dad. We all believe in you. I'm looking forward to the great things you're gonna do.
All right. Shout outs to Finney, of course, of all people. Always got to shout out that guy. And last but definitely not least, Wall Street, any shout outs?
Shout out Trucks. Where you at? Miss you.
All right. Awesome. Thank you guys. I want to thank everybody for watching this edition of Otter Talk as we get ready for the wildcard round of the Platinum playoffs here. Do not go anywhere. We're going to head to a short break as we wait for all the teams to be ready to play their matches tonight. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. And welcome everybody to the first round of the Blue Otter Platinum Playoffs wild card matches. Tonight we will be having Imperial Gaming going up against Conduit Kraken. I am your play-by-play caster Chong Somo, and this week I'm not joined by Toki B, but in his place we got Beto. Beto, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It's actually morning for me, but hopefully it is a lovely night over there in the States. Right now, so my eyes going towards the center band. Recently been buffed, obviously, and I guess these teams prioritizing towards it. A lot of focus, in fact, over towards the jungle position, but it's going to be a Jinx first pick from IG.
Yeah, and I'm not really shocked about the Jinx first pick. She is like the only crit marksman that exists in the game of League of Legends anymore, just because of how strong that passive is, allows you to take over team fights. But also the jungle focus on the side of Conduit makes a lot of sense, trying to narrow down that pool out of the new jungler of Imperial Gaming and Lost. It is a strong point for him with those
Ooh.
champions. So just looking for a good one. And then just going for the Jin response is an interesting one. Not really a champion I associate a lot with Chrome alone in the bot lane for Kraken.
I do really love the Jin Zhao, and I think that, obviously I don't know these players. If you're saying that, Jin maybe not something that you would have expected, I still think quite a decent AD carry. First pick, maybe not, but Jin Zhao, one of, if not the best junglers um, in the game right now, in my opinion, and the prioritization towards the jungle bans from Conduit and a little bit from IG as well. Sejuani is going to be picked up alongside the Jinx. I want to quickly mention as well, you guys can't see, but I can see that production was having a quick skim through the patch notes just on the side here. Having a look at the center buffs. Tahm Kench to pair with this Jinx, pretty standard combo that has stood the test of time, rounding out the top three for IG. What's it going to be for Conduit here? I imagine maybe a support pairing could be something like a Leona to go with this Jin. You could go towards the Rakan, goes well with the Xin Zhao and the Jin. You could also go towards an Ari. All things I think that Conduit want to go here, but I mean they could go anything. It is going to be the Leona. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's a classic pickup for the support of Conduit Kraken and Raven. Also, the Tahm Kench, it does pair well with Jinx, but it is also a takeaway from Raven's champion pool. And with it being full fearless does make a lot of sense. But like you said, you did mention about the Xin Zhao pickup in the jungle. I really do like that one for Jesus Juice. He is a carry-oriented jungler. So picking up a strong early game jungler that can take over a game by itself is a nice pickup for them. while IG is going much more for the focus of having their AD carry be the hyper carry for them in this game number 1 with the draft they have so far. So I assume we're going to see some melee bans coming out of here, strong melee top laners not wanting to give that pairing with a Sejuani, maybe possibly even a Yone ban, because that is just one of the strongest duos for the mid jungle when you have a Sejuani. So really interested to see where the rest of these bans round us out before the second phase of picks.
This is not typically something that I've seen too many top laners go towards, which is a surprise because I think that the kit is quite, simple. But obviously Renekton, one of the strongest top laners, early game towards the mid game, can build a really strong lead and take over a game. Does really, really well with Sejuani as well. With the if you have above 50 rage, you hit the stun, get the basically like a double stun with Sejuani. It's really nice. But yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't get played too much. Victor getting picked up right now for Conduit. They have a lot of range. I think we need some more engage though here. Potentially one more frontliner from the top, or also, maybe like a Gnar, but again, that's something that I haven't seen too many teams go towards in the lower elos here. IG on their 4-5 here have their top laner and their mid laner to pick away here against the Victor. You going for some more range. Something like a Xerath, I guess, could work here. I don't mind Azir, although, Azir is quite difficult. It's going to be Seraphine to go into the mid lane, which is, I guess it's got range. It has a good team fight, but now I think you need more damage from the top lane. So you're going to have to go towards some kind of carry that can be counterpicked. What do you even go towards? Camille, it's pretty hard against Leon and Victor. You can't really land onto Jhin that well. You're going to go towards, it has to be an AD carry, right? An AD top lane like carry. I guess Renekton's good here, but I think the IG are getting a bit pinched here.
I mean, my thought with this Seraphine pickup is that this potentially could even be a Tom Kench going up in the top lane, and you put Seraphine support, and now with
Yeah,
that
you're
Xerath
right.
being picked up, I assume that Xerath is going to be in the mid lane here for paradigm shift into that Victor, like you did mention shortly before, Beto. But I also like how Conduit is going with this draft. They drafted the Jhin early, and Jhin is notoriously known for not being able to kill tanks. That's not his job, and that's what they picked the Victor for, to be that person to be able to get through this Sejuani, get through this Tom Kench. And like you said, they do need a little bit more engage. I'd like to see maybe an Orin picked up here on this R5. Mundo kind of does the same thing. It's all right. It's not my favorite tank to be picking up here. It's good into the AP focus that the side of IG has with the Xerath, the Seraphine, and even Sejuani does a natural AP damage with the kit that she does have, and Tom Kench does a little bit with the Q. So I do like the pick overall. I just don't think it's the best pick for their comp. They're really focused on disengage coming out of your Xin Zhao or your Leona and having it be followed up by this Jhin to get these squish your targets off the map, while Victor is just doing what Victor does in a team fight and just puts on the Chaos Storm, hits those lasers, and looks for the big damage. While IG has a much more poke oriented comp with the Seraphine and the Xerath, and then they're looking for the engage out of the Tom Kench or the Sejuani, with a little bit more of a solid front line with those two champions. But I mean, looking at these two drafts here that we have for game number 1, Beto, which one are you liking more and why?
Just straight up team fights. I love Conduit's draft. I think that lower elos teams, in my opinion, or in my experience, sorry, that I've watched, love to team fight. They love to 5-man dragons, especially when you don't need to. But I think that Conduit's draft suits that really well. I think that Jhin is untouchable this game. I mean, to Xerath maybe, but Sejuani, especially Tom Kench and the Seraphine engage, is never hitting Jhin if he's playing well. Victor does a lot of AoE team damage, obviously, but then Leon and Xin Zhao have such a great front line. And the Mundo, I think that Ornn, I think you're right. Ornn would have done work here, in my opinion, catching out immobile carries like Jinx, Seraphine, Xerath. Like, Ornn would have been cinema here, but Mundo still fills that tank role, like you were saying. Can't engage, but has basically just a brick wall to round out the team comp. On the side of IG, though, I think their comp is harder to execute on, considering that it is all skill shots. But I think that in a situation where you're able to play at a really nice distance and kind of like tug of war, pull the rope back and forth, pull Conduit back and forth with your poke. They walk forward, you walk back, hit them with all your kit, and then when their crucial members have taken some poke, that front line, you can engage with the Seraphine ult or the Sejuani. Maybe find a flank with Sejuani. I am a bit worried though about the Xin Zhao. I think the Xin Zhao is so strong And I know that he has a really hard time engaging onto things like Xerath, but he buys so much time with his ult. If he's able to get that off while the burst is coming through from Seraphine Xerath, the damage is mostly on Jinx. And if Jinx isn't able to have a good game, as in like provided by the team, not just an individual, but obviously individual as well, but provided the space, the setup from Seraphine, if the lane goes okay, I think Conduit's draft is just a more straightforward. It's less punishing as well, like against themselves. Maybe
Oh my
he might
God.
have muted himself.
I literally
Oh,
meant to hit
hello.
my unmute button on my microphone, and it did not go through. I've done that way too many times so far this season. But like you said, maybe they did want a little bit more hard engage on the side of Conduit. But if this Mundo starts hitting cleavers and he pops that ult and Ghost, there's not the world's most peel on the side of IG to stop this Mundo, especially if he has that passive active. He can just land cleaver after cleaver and be a menace in the team fights. But it could be a little bit difficult to stay on top of the Xerath and the Seraphine if they're able to layer CC properly and not let him pick up that passive. But it's definitely going to be an interesting game number one that we have here between IG and Conduit Kraken. The only way we're going to be figuring out who gets this game number one victory in this first round of playoffs is when we get back onto the Rift after a short spectator delay. We're going to head to a break. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back. And we are back for game number 1 between Imperial Gaming and Conduit Kraken. Imperial Gaming going to be on the blue side, Conduit Kraken going to be on the red side. I'm still Chong Somo, still joined by Beto for this series here tonight, and it should be a good one.
Yeah, you got me a bit caught off guard there with the Xerath or the Tahm Kench flex. I guess you saw it completely. I missed that. I was very sure it was going to be Tahm with the Jinx, but quite a over grouping right now in the top lane, just getting that ward down, spotting out the jungle pathing. Good prioritization from Conduit, but sneaky. Doing the same thing over on the bot side there, finding the ward himself as this well spotted out by our observer. I think that this first game, I mean, I haven't casted too many best of 5 fearlesses. I did a little bit for Slash All's finals. I think that best of 5 fearlesses for like lower division, you'll have to inform me about the blue otter rules on the later up games of the fearless. So because the one that I was casting was the first 3, I believe, were like true fearless. Then game 4 was you get 3 bans. Game 5 was no bans. So
Yep,
with
that's
all
the
the
same.
fearless in
Yep,
there.
that's the same we do over here.
Awesome,
Yep.
awesome. I
Yeah,
feel like,
and
yeah, the drafts become very crazy later on, huh?
it makes it very fun. As like I've played in them before, it makes it very fun because it starts to become a chess game. Like when you start the series, if you know that it's going to go later, it's like, what can we take away from the enemy team in these first games so they can't have them later in case we end up getting to that point that can help us secure the win. And it becomes very interesting. But I mean, I think for the most part in this game number 1, I think both sides got the champions that they wanted for game number 1. Nothing was really super taken away except for like the Tahm Kench. But overall, I think it's very much there on the champions they want to be playing in this first game of the series. Nothing really contested between the pools and nothing really taken away from either side. So if it goes later, people are still going to be on their comfort and not too uncomfortable in certain matchups. So I mean, it's going to be interesting if it does go to those game 4 and 5s because it does really become a strategic thing when you get into those drafts.
Later on as well, I mean, what role is going to be the one that's pinched the most? I mean, we've already seen prioritization towards the jungle role, right? I find mid and top tend to be the roles that get pinched the most. I mean, I'm an ADC player myself. I think that kind of the easiest role to play in a fearless situation. I think that a lot of the AD carries kind of just plug and play in different scenarios. Not that all of them are, but I think that mid lane, top lane suffer a lot. Support is another one. Maybe you disagree, but
I do disagree slightly. I feel like it's actually AD carry that gets pinched the most, or support,
really?
because
That's interesting.
because I feel like it's a lot of people think like AD carry because there's so few in the game and like that people are willing to play. I think support is up there just because there's like 2 mentalities to support. You're either really good on like your enchanters, you're really good on engaged champions, or you're really good at these mage picks. And then the longer you go into a series, the less you get of those, especially if you're playing against somebody who has the same playstyle as you. And it becomes really difficult where like people have to start actually branching out. But in the meantime, Sloth is taking a lot of poke in this mid lane. Paradigm Shift doing a good job at poking him down, but he's losing his mana for it while Sloth is creating a CS advantage for himself. But I feel like it's like really interesting when you do get to those games because like there are some people who just have innately small champion pools just because they don't like to practice a lot of other champions, or they're just like, hey, I don't play this style at all, which makes it become difficult. But in the meantime, we see Jesus Juice in the mid side, but taking a recall, and now Coach Silent K could actually be caught out here. Boss is going in with the Arctic Exalt. Coach is going to pick up his passive. The Abyssal Dive is going to be knocking him up. He is CC down. He's using his Ghost to try to escape. The Tongue Lash hits. He's stunned up, and they're going to give first blood over to Katori up in the top lane. Now in the meantime, Jesus Juice uses that. This shots go forward. Gets the third knockup, but nothing else going to be coming out from that one at the time, just helping his mid laner push out this wave. But overall, first blood has been picked up by Imperial Gaming in game number 1.
I mean, that visit from Jesus Juice right there was basically just necessary to help Sloth get a push out, help him get base, take a TP back, who's in a really bad wave state. Good Ruby Crystals by, average mid lane build in 2025, I guess, but a really good look into the top side for last. This window is going to become an issue later on when he's really tanky, has, ult available, and the Black Shield is going to be an issue for the, snappy engage of IG, right? Because, he's going to immune the first half of that. But finding him early, shutting him down, especially getting a first blood onto the Tahm Kench, who does really well with items and gold for a tank, right? He will do tons of damage as opposed to, you know, a lot of other tanks. And I still think that the Tahm Kench can fill multiple roles in this comp too, right? Can still fill the Peely role for the Jinx, but can also walk forward and play aggressive, you know, dive in, find, you know, dive onto the carry if he's able to get onto Victor, or, you know, eat the Xinjiao when he's ulting, when he's trying to provide space. I think that the Tahm Kench flex is really nice, and not just flex for the role, but like how he can play in the game. Only a 1, you know, only first blood. Wasn't going to mean too much here. Grub spawning soon. The dragon has spawned, and junglers are pathing down. See if they want to fight.
Yeah, and with that, Conduit Kraken does have this mid lane push, so Sloth is able to rotate over before Paradigm Shift does, but then the Abyssal Dive is used up in the top lane, but now Sloth is caught out, the Assaulting Charge is used forward, he is slowed down, CC'd up, everything is used on Sloth, and Paradigm Shift is going to be picking that kill up, the second one for IG, looking now to start up this dragon, but Kraken is still in the area, but it looks like they're just going to be giving this one up. They do not want to fight this 4v3. Coach Silent K getting knocked up again in this top lane and struggling into this matchup against Skatori. And something to talk about for the series, Coach Silent K, originally the jungler for this team, role swap to top lane for them to bring in Jesus Juice into the jungle. It looks like he's struggling a little bit in this matchup, but as we say, the dragon does go down to the side of IG, but Conduit Kraken not giving this one up. They're looking to go in. Jesus Juice hits the proc and flash away from Ziggy, but never mind, Jesus Juice flashes forward. The audacious charge on top of Ziggy. Ziggy has no flash. It's going to go down to Jesus Juice, getting a kill back for his team.
That's so funny. Unfortunately, Ziggy flashes, like, I'll have to flash, you know, because when it becomes lightning hits. But then his team paths away. Like, all right, sorry, Seraphine, you're gone. I have to take that, you know, tempo death there, self-sacrifice on the support role. You mentioned the mid prior that play for Sloth, which is a great call out, right? Sloth rotates over, but Jesus Juice not on the same page, didn't rotate down, wanted to full clear on the bot side first, and instead gets caught out on the rotation from last. Victor, one of those champions that, you know, very slow, no mobility in the mid lane, needs a team to escort and kind of hold his hand around the map. Can't really walk through any bushes by himself with no vision. You know, there was no, you know, support prio from Illicit either to help that. So yeah, unfortunately, caught out is Sloth, and now another kill over to IG. This time it's onto the Xerath, which is going to make Victor's life a lot harder. We'll find the first dragon, engage in bot.
Yeah, I don't think much is going to be coming out from this one because Chromalone is so far away. Illicit Raven taking a lot of damage on the backside. Chromalone is trying to follow this one up, does get the fourth shot down. Raven is lower on the end. The ult comes out from Azure Fire, but it does not pick up the kill. But now Chromalone is looking to tap this one back, does not get the root out of that play, and he's going to have to run away. Lost is on the way looking for this play, but it is warded out. But at the meantime, up in the top side, Juice is taking the grubs for his team as his bot lane is able to barely survive that play in the bot lane.
Yeah, 1 health from that Super Mega Death Rocket. Illicit lives. And spotted on that ward on the entrance was last there. So Jesus just going to pass out to the top side, get that mid prio from Sloth. Take these grubs, trading some plates on the bot side. It is a good play, right, for both teams. However, you know, 3 grubs. Mundo, pretty good split pusher, right? He's going to do pretty well against towers in general. Is it going to be, you know, are you going to find a situation in which Mundo can just free hit towers? Maybe, maybe not, you know, or obviously the Tahm Kench already found the first blood, but it's a good answer from Conduit in a game that, you know, currently they need to be finding those answers.
Yeah, and Coach already getting a play up in this top lane. And I think the big thing, the reason that Raven lived in the bot lane is because they had the Eclipse active and they were drinking the 1 potion they had in their inventory to be able to live on that 1 HP. That's just proof that you got to drink your pots early in a fight rather than later sometimes to be able to keep yourself topped off just a little bit more. And it worked out for the bot lane. Yes, they did have to take a bad recall timer and did lose a plate for it, but them not going down to this Jinx early in the game is very important for the side of Conduit Kraken. You do not want to be giving this Jinx a little that extra early gold, but now Raven is going back in onto Ziggy. Ziggy is rooted up from Deadly Flourish, but now they're trying to turn this one back onto Azure X Fire. Big damage coming out of Chromalone with that 4th shot and that Q damage of the dancing grenade. And now they're looking to go back onto Raven. Raven is slowed up from the zap, but I think they are going to be okay. Deadly Flourish hits onto Ziggy once again. A lot of damage coming down. And now Paradigm and Lost are both in the bot lane. They are trying to TP Coach Silent K in, but it does not matter. Azure is excited, and they're going more for Raven. Raven gets the flash away and is now dancing for her life. But Paradigm Shift hits the 4th shot on the right of the Arcane. picks up 2 kills in the bot lane for the side of Imperial Gaming.
I mean, we were talking about the draft earlier for Conduit being a great team fighting draft, but now I mentioned, the poke from IG is strong. It's really hard for Conduit to gap close, and especially when they're taking these, lower number skirmishes in longer engages, right? The Xerath, the Seraphine, the Jinx really do well there, and the Seraphine is, the Sejuani is proving to be an issue that so far Conduit just can't chew through.
Yeah, and I mean, Lost has been all over this bot lane so far in the early game, and Paradigm Shift with another really good roam to get down to that bot lane to make that play of 4v2. Jesus Juice just not in the area. Coach tried to TP there, but it's not the TP of old. It takes forever to channel, so it just doesn't turn into a good play for Conduit. The bot lane getting punished on their little bit of aggression that started out good for the side of Conduit, but turned very quickly by IG. Just playing more as a unit at this point in the early game. Conduit not using their comp the way they should be with looking for these team fights. But with the next Dragon spawn in 15 seconds, we might be getting a fight on our hands. Juice is on vision, Lost in the area, but I think they will be okay. Coach Silent K had to pop the ultimate in the mid lane because Paradigm Shift was hitting all that poke.
No TP for him as well, so he has to reset there, come out of base. Sloth, this top side, walking down, does have the TP to go back to the top lane. Tom Kench is basing and does also have TP, so I imagine all members on deck for this team fight.
Yeah, and Raven is looking to get in with Jesus Juice. The Dragon is at 2k HP. It looks like it's going to be finished up. There's a TP on the ward that Sloth is walking over, but the Dragon goes down to the side of IG. No engage coming out from Conduit Kraken. No man, Lost is going in, hits the ultimate onto Jesus Juice. Jesus Juice taking a lot of damage, but gets his own ultimate out and is going to be blocking all the damage that's coming out from the right of the Arcane from the Paradigm Shift Xerath. Able to escape with his life in exchange for a couple of ultimates from the side of IG, but they pick up their second Dragon of the game, looking to get even so closer to those feats of strength for themselves.
Yeah, and that will matter this game, right? Jinx does well. Tom Kench, the tanks with those upgraded tank boots. Feels really nice. I mean, it's one of those situations, I think, where you'd rather have it than not. I don't know, there's been quite a bit of discussion over things like Feet of War. How strong are they? How strong is Atacant? Like the new version of Atacant. Great team fight from IG. Great positions. The pushing out Mundo there. Coach, unfortunately, had the base. No TP. Tom, TP's in maybe a didn't need to TP in there, but was around the fight nonetheless. So, I mean, that's kind of hindsight, right? Didn't need to, but maybe the team were, all, like I said, all hands on deck for that play. You see the value from the the Jin Zhao ult. Some of my words there. The Jin Zhao ult, even though he's engaged on, is able to deflect the entire Xerath ult, gives him his life back. But yeah, it's 2 dragons over to IG right now. It is going to be Chemtech Sol, which isn't the best in general. Obviously, the Chemtech Drake's doing well with Seraphine. I think Mundo, actually, quite a benefactor of Chemtech Sol in general. Dancing around that 50% mark, but, going back up to full, back down with his ult. I think that anti-heal as well, something that Jinx is going to have to go towards this game. No Ignite on the side of IG means maybe late game this Mundo is going to be a bit too much of an issue.
Yeah, and I mean, also, like you noted, that Katori did TP down for that play. They're going to have a TP advantage on the side of Conduit Kraken when this Rift Herald does spawn, because Sloths is up and Coaches will be back. But in the top lane, they were just trying to trade blow for blow up here. Both of them on that hard steel, just looking to stack those up and be big tanky boys up in the top lane, what you expect from a Mundo and a Tom Kench. But in the meantime, in the bot lane, Jesus Juice is trying to look for a potential play down here. With Lost being on the other side, they're going for the engage now. Azure is going to have to flash away from this one, but they can look to turn this onto Ziggy. The Zen blade does not hit, but the Audacious charges in. The 3-talent strike is procced, but it's not going to get the third knockup, and the side of IG is able to escape that one. Ghost is used, but Flash and Cleanse used by Chrome alone. They're going back out to Azure Fire. He has no flash, and he's going to end up going down to the curtain call. The third shot's going to hit onto Ziggy, but the fourth shot misses, and they're not going to be able to pick up Ziggy until Jesus flashes forward and sacrifices his life over to the support of IG, but they are able to get the 2 kills they need in the bot lane on the side of Conduit Kraken.
Beautiful solo kill from Ziggy there. Absolutely no help. Just somehow 100-0 the jungler there. I love... Oh, hold that thought. TP from Xerath. Is this a bit ambitious? I think it is. It's just going to be walked away from Conduit. No mana on Paradigm Shift either. Can he cook this?
But they're going back in. The Zenblade is hit and then stunned up. The Super Mega Death Rocket not hitting up onto anybody. He has no mana, but he still is able to pick up the kill onto Chrome and Alone. And now it's going to be illicit Raven trying to get the solo kill. The Zenblade is back forward, but he has enough mana because of the passive. Picking up a double kill in the top lane. Katorian lost. Picking up a kill on the Coach Silent K. This early game is turning up all Imperial Gaming.
That was a necessary TP from Paradigm Shift there. I was a bit confused. I'm thinking, surely Conduit can walk out of this. Instead, they feel confident to take 2v1. They shouldn't have been confident. Zerath takes down the the Jhin very, very quickly. Unfortunately, yeah, Super Mega Death Rocket does miss, which would have made it even easier for Paradigm to get that double kill. Bit of an overstep there from the bot lane of IG. I mean, I think that the Seraphine ult was great, forced both cleanse and flash. But at the end of the day, you're Jinx Seraphine. Jinx is on one item. You're against the Xin Zhao. It's a 3v2. I think that taking that 3v2 there is a bit ambitious. Great save hero play from the mid lane of IG.
And now Sloth can be in a lot of trouble here. He does not have flash here. He's stunned up by the Xerath and taking a whole lot of poke damage. The Rift Herald is spawned in the mid lane, trying to get the pressure for the bot lane. But now Lost is going to be on top Coach Silent K. They're not going to go for it. They're just trying to clear away this Rift Herald, keeping their turret alive. Now Jesus Juice is on the backside, looking to go in, get stunned up. And Illicit Raven is also here. They're looking to go on to Paradigm Shift. The Zenith Blade is hit. He is stunned up, taking a whole lot of damage. Super Mega Death Rocket hits on the Sloth, but it does not matter. They can look to turn this one onto Lost, but it's not going to look like it. They're turning back onto Jesus Juice, using the Crescent Guard to disengage the fight right now, and Conduit Kraken picks up the kill onto the Xerath in the mid lane. Sloth going to channel that recall and look to TP back in and look for this dragon fight. In the meantime, they're going forward. They're not locked up by the root there, but never mind. On the backside, Raven is the one who gets stunned down, and it looks like the TP from Sloth is going to come back in. They're still positioning in this mid lane, trying to get this push down, trying to look for an engage on both sides. Center Blade is hit onto the support of Ziggy, and they're looking to get all the damage down. Alyssa Raven going to have the flash out. Curtain Call is going across the whole team, and Lost is getting burnt down, but it does not matter. And now Katori is the focus here. He's going to use that Grey Health Shield to bring that all back up. Jesus Juice is going down super low to the side of Azure Fire, but he's picked back up in the meantime by Chrome Alone. They're still looking to push forward on the side of Imperial Gaming, looking to hit those cleavers, hit those briefcases, but they're not coming out. There is no corporation to look at the shell out their money to Coach Silent K on this wound at this time. And now Paradigm Shift has rejoined this fight. They're looking to go in onto Chrome Alone. The knockup from Katori's Tom Kench is not going to hit onto this one. They're still getting a lot of poke out of Paradigm Shift. Right, the Arcane is being used. Chrome Alone is fancy feeding it, dodges all of them except for the important two, and ends up going down to Paradigm Shift at the back end of that fight. And in the meantime, because of all this chaos and all this time, the Dragon is started up here. It's going to be the third one going over to IG, unless Conduit tries to force right now with a disadvantage number battle.
Yeah, how can you walk in here against Seraphine, Seraph, this Tom Kench that is proving to be an issue. They really can't chew through him right now. TP coming in from Coach.
Coming out from Coach Silent K. He's looking to 2v1 this one on the backside, already on top of Paradigm Shift. He's doing a lot of damage to them, but he's taking a lot in return, and Lost is turning his focus away from this dragon, and because of that, Jesus Juice is in the area. He can look to turn this one back in, and a nice TP by Coach Silent K is going to give the area over to the side of Conduit Kraken, and it looks like they're just going to pick this one up ever so closely. Picked up by Sloth, stopping the dragon stacking out of Imperial Gaming.
Really nice try on the steal there from Paradigm, but unfortunately wasn't able to get it. It wasn't even the smite that took it. I don't even think Jesus Juice smited that. I think it was just Sloth on the Victor who's able to last hit that. Brilliant TP from Coach Silent there. Get back in. Has that full health bar. Has, boots, hard steel finish, starting to stack that up. Love the competition between the three members that have Heartsteel. Let's see who's able to get the most snacks towards the end of this game. But yeah, brilliant TP. Finds a great time. The members of IG are split off. Half of them are fighting over in that river bush towards the mid lane. Two of them are taking Dragon, and the two that were taking Dragon aren't able to take down the Xerath, the Mundo at all. So it ends up, Conduit come over in spades, take control of the pit, take the Dragon themselves, deny the stacking. And yeah, if they're able to get four Chemtech Drakes plus the soul for this team, right, for Mundo, that's going to be pretty scary.
Yeah, and I mean, Coach did a lot of damage now. Never mind, Right of the Arcane is used, but Mundo pops his own ult. Coach Silent K could look to keep going in on this one. Hits one cleaver. He has the Ghost in his back pocket if he wants to push this one forward, but not looking to do so at this point. Not sure where the rest of the IG members are. Just an ult for ult trade in the bot lane, and Coach Silent K is at a half HP now after that one. They could look to go in on the top lane. Katori's going to have to Abyssal dive his way out of this one. There's no follow-up. Jesus not in range, but never mind. Lost is the one who's going back in. Arctic Assault onto the this Xin Zhao. TP coming out from the Xerath, and Crescent Guard is already used, but they are in the range. G's just going to have to flash away from this one. There are 5 members up in the top side for the side of Imperial Gaming. Katori is going to get that one. Sloth going to flash away from all the damage, and it is a clean kill up in the top lane. Although 5v2 for the side of IG, they're going to take up this top turret, but in the meantime, you have push in mid for Kraken, push in bot for Kraken, looking to break open this game and be like, you can take our jungle, you can take our top lane outer, but we will take 2 inner turrets in response.
And they're still pushing right now, trying to get this mid-tier 2
Oh
as well.
no, Sloth is eating up, and he's not going to be able to get this one. Getting the tongue lashings from Katori. Got some shield from the Q, but the tongue lash is there to pick up the kill.
They are able to get the mid-tier 2 and the bot tier 2. Tons of gold there in the pockets of Conduit for some kills in the top lane. I mean, you look at the kills, you look at the objectives, you think to yourself, I mean, you know, 2 dragons, over double kills. You got the Herald for IG, but the gold, it's in favor of Conduit. It was even before that play, and now it's ahead for Conduit. These towers have been making a huge impact. Victor Sloth has finally completed stacking the Rod of Ages, so they're going to be very tanky in this. It's going to make engaging onto him really difficult. You know, you already can't engage onto the Jhin. I think that this game is looking quite good for Conduit. I think they're in a good position. However, this play right here, if IG are able to pull this Atacon, force another fight right now with members of Conduit split, or even take it for themselves, that would break open the game. Baron shortly available after its spawn. Taking this bot tower is going to even the gold just a little bit. That mid-tier 1, very low as well. So IG have a little bit more standing gold to put the gold back in their favor. They're not going to opt for this Atacon right now, just these towers and maybe a bush bait here.
Yeah, and I mean, big thing right now is Coach Silent K does not have TP on that top lane, so Conduit saying the longer they wait to start this Otacon, the better it is, because he will have TP available to him. And he's also just been split pushing on this Mundo all game and doing a pretty good job at it, but now Katori could be in a little bit of trouble. The Wind Becomes Lightning is hit, he is stunned up by the Deadly Flourish, and now they're taking all the focus onto this Tom Kench. He's going to eat up Jesus Juice, he's going down super low. Grey Health not popped yet, Raven going back in for the engage. Crescent Guard comes out from Jesus Juice, but he's taking so much damage on the backside, not going to take any damage on the Seraphine. The ult is used, Chrome going to have to cleanse this one away. Jesus getting super low, but they're cutting this one out. Abyssal Dive hits onto Raven and Chrome, and now Azure Fire's in this fight. Raven is going to go down. The Jinx is excited, turning down this damage back onto Chrome. Chrome has the 4th shot, so they do not want to press any longer forward. That Tom Kench lives for so long, and making that play be able to turn in IG's favor. But because of that, Coach Silent K was split pushing that whole time, picks up another outer turret for the side of Conduit Kraken to keep this gold even.
Finds both the tier 1 and the tier 2, I believe, there as well. A massive gold injection for Coach, for sure. But where's the damage for Conduit? I mean, mentioned it a little bit before, this Jhin doesn't do very well up against the tanks.
Here's the damage, it's Coach Silent K! Just runs down Azure Fire. Who needs damage when you got a Mundo? Am I right?
What skin is he using? Is it the briefcase? Is he throwing the
briefcase?
Yep,
it's the business
Mundo. Smack him in the face. Making a call right there, telling the team, you know, I got the kill, now over to the Dragon. There's going to be 2 for Conduit, and I mean, this is Dragon stacking for Conduit. It's, you know, Chemtech Salt. It's not the best Dragon in the game, but, I mean, you know, Shield's going to really help the Leona, help the Xin Zhao, but the tenacity, the heal, the, you know, Soul, it's going to go, sorry, if it goes to Conduit, it's going to really favor this Mundo. Atacon being started up by Conduit right now, and IG have no idea, so they do actually. It's on Vision, but they just can't step up at all to take this.
Yeah, because Mundo forced Azure to sign up for the Shell Corporation that he has, that little pyramid scheme. It forces IG to not be able to approach the Otacon, and they're just able to get this. And you were talking about it before. A lot of people are debating, is this new Otacon actually strong? I think it is. The fact that, one, you don't have to farm the blood petals, you just automatically get them. And then that new passive that does that AoE burst of damage and slow when you do get a kill in team fights, I think is absolutely massive for the way you want to play some of these team fighting comps. So I really do like this new Otacon more than I liked some of the old ones. Maybe the Revive one was like the one I liked more, but I think this new one is very strong in its own right.
Could we, production, could you click on one of the players, please, if that would be an option, so we can see the flowers? 25 on the red side right now. So not bad at all. Not bad at all. Gonna, you know, obviously needing to collect more, do more. I think the funniest part about it is the kind of like Jhin passive effect that happens, and like you already have Jhin, so it's kind of funny that that's like both hitting. You've got the explosion from Jhin passive plus the explosion from the new Atakan. Conduit in a really good position right now. Baron has spawned. Have a quick look over at the summoner spells. This is some important disparities here. Jinx, no summoners. Jhin, no summoners. Flash for Xin Zhao, no flash for Sejuani. So the engage for Conduit is slightly better, and Jinx very volatile in this position right now. Jhin has, superior range. The tank damage, however, is still an issue, right? I mean, we've got Leandries for Sloth. No pen just yet for either. The Black Cleaver, I guess, from Jesus Juice, going to be evening that out just a bit, helping the Jhin. Basically, that's it. Helping the Jhin and helping himself. I would love, pen next for Victor. I mean, an Abyssal Mask would be great. If it was someone who could build... I'm a really big Bloodletter's Curse fan, to be honest. I think that item's cool. Yeah, but I don't think anyone can build that this game really to help Sloth with the pen. But we'll have to see what Conduit can do around that. I think both teams need pen.
No. No, Coach Silent K is ghosting in the Paradigm Shift. Is just TPing away. Is able to stay alive because he had to use that summon spell. I really like that play out of Coach Silent K. You're popping the ghost. It does not matter. It's a shorter summoner spell than the TP that Paradigm Shift had to use to get away from that one. And because of that, now Coach Silent K has the TP advantage and can just start doing what he's been doing all game and split pushing in the spot lane while his team is going to start getting advantage over this top side Baron area of the map. And like you said, I do think Sloth does need to build some magic pen, but also I don't really know if Paradigm needs to. There's not, like, yes, the Mundo is tanky, but you have Blackfire Torch and Leandries. You're doing that percentile health damage. So you kind of don't really need it at this point as Paradigm Shift. I think he's just going to be going for that Horizon Focus to get that bonus damage that you are looking for out of the Xerath. And Coach Silent K does not care about Paradigm Shift, but he might care about the rest of the side of IG engaging onto him. He's going to be taken super low here. Maybe he can get out, but I don't think there's a world that he does. Katori on a rampage picking up that kill, but because they sent 5 players bot, the Baron is going to be started up here by the side of Conduit Kraken. They too take this a little bit slow because their AD carry is a Jhin. It is not a hyper carry. He does not do damage to this Baron, and Jesus Juice not in the area. They're going to have to recall away from here, and that means IG can take control of this, but never mind. Right of the Arcane is used. Chromalone is going to cleanse it, but he still goes down to the burn damage. A huge pickoff by Paradigm Shift, and now the Baron going to be started up by the side of IG. It is just going to have to be given away here by Conduit Kraken. A little bit of a misstep by them at this point in the game.
Yeah, huge mistake from Conduit here. Using Baron in this position, you were up significant amount of map pressure there. I think it's the missed synergy between basically the top lane, the old coach, and the rest of the team. He's calling for the split push. Guys, I pushed out Xerath TP. I forced it out, sorry. I used my ghost. I'm going to play for this bot inhib. You guys play around Baron. Either I get the tower like he did, and then can either TP over if Xerath comes and matches, or I can keep pushing if no one does. Instead, all members of IG come over, but Baron is nowhere near started off a Conduit. Maybe need to hold this point here.
Oh, no, they're going in after Paradigm Shift. Paradigm Shift is going to have to flash away, but the Encore is big onto multiple people. Now Lost is not taking a whole lot of damage here, but against the ult. Never mind, there's the Encore now getting onto Sloth and Alyssa Raven. Flash away from both of them. They're using the Chaos Storm to get some damage down. Now the curtains have been opened up by Chromalone, but he's going to get knocked up and knocked up a second time. Now Jesus going super low. He's going to die onto the backside of this fight. Coach Silent K is trying to create space for the rest of his team to get out of this one, and now the focus is on him. He's going to end up going down in the long run, but he saves the 3 members of Conduit Kraken. What started out good at the side of Kraken for the engage turned very quickly because of the frontline prowess that IG has on their comp.
I mean, once again, Conduit take a fight down members. I mean, they're in a bush together. Great, that's awesome. But your Jhin isn't there. Does Jhin really do, the most damage? No, of course not. There's, 2 tanks there, but you do need Jhin to help layer the CC to do AoE damage with his Q. And obviously, hit a 4-shot on a carry. Hit it onto the Jinx, hit it onto the Xerath. Has his cleanse forced earlier. I mean, I say forced very liberally. I don't think he needed to cleanse the Xerath ult before. But he did, so hard of him to even attempt to play the team fights. IG now pushing into the base with Baron. They're on Soul Point as well. They have many options to them. Mid inhib is the first option, and they've chosen to base now. Still 2 tier 2s available, 2 of those inner turrets. Top lane and bot lane. Base is being channeled, and I imagine some side lane action is what we're going to see next.
Yeah, and I feel like a big thing in this game for kind of Kraken is I feel like Sloth just does no damage on this Victor. Like, you want this Victor to scale, but I feel like Paradigm Shift has had such an upper hand in this mid lane, always poking Sloth down every chance he gets, and because that Sloth is down on full half item at this point, it just feels like he doesn't have the items or the damage at this point to punch through the strong front line of this Tahm Kench and the Sejuani, and that is a big thing in this game because of how much CC they provide for their team. We saw Chrome alone open up with the curtain call and immediately was responded to by Lost using the Q, flashing forward, knocking him up, and Katori immediately following that one up, so Chrome couldn't even play that team fight if he wanted to. So IG looking pretty strong in this first game here so far, but that doesn't mean Conduit is out of this one. We've seen them, you know, play a smart macro game for the most part in this. Just a couple of mistakes costing them at this point. They're only down 5k, and their base, yes, they lost the mid lane inhibitor, but the rest of the map is in a good spot for them.
Sol not too far away for IG, only 3 minutes. We'll have, don't have their Baron available anymore. Who, unless oh, maybe it's covered by buffs. I can't actually see. Maybe.
No Baron.
Yeah, no Baron. I thought that was right. I just couldn't see with all of those red buff, blue buffs. No Baron available. So these tier 2s are a lot safer without that. And the sieging potential from IG isn't the best. I mean, they have a hard time punching through the Mundo the same way that Conduit have a hard time punching through IG. As they are looking for this tier 2, however. Mid lane is being pushed in, and Mundo is not able to keep this bot wave out. This tier 2 is being started by the members of IG. It's around half health and most likely will fall unless Conduit can find an engage here. The tower falls. Jinx gets excited, and that's going to sub the engage for a moment.
The current call is now being used here. Lost is trying to get in, but the ultimate by Paradigm Shift is used to get onto Coach Silent K. Coach Silent K is trying to create a front line with the help of Jesus Juice, but a 3-man encore is quickly used there by Ziggy. Crumalone is already dead in this fight, and now it's going to be on to Sloth to get this one. A double kill for Paradigm Shift. Alyssa Raven goes back in and ends up going down. Azure is still excited in this team fight. Nobody on the side of IG has gone down yet. It is Coach Silent K and Sloth trying to fight their way through this one. Lost taking a lot of damage. Ziggy is low. Azure's at half HP. Coach Silent K is trying to still create space to keep this turret alive, but it's not gonna matter because Sloth has no HP. He has to go to base. Coach now has to go to base himself as IG breaks open their second inhibitor of the game, and they're going to be looking to end this one. But Sloth is alive. He flashes forward, but gets no abilities out. Lost is engaging onto him. He's taking a lot of damage. Coach Island K is looking to go in, trying to get these kills on the backside. Paradigm Shift is low. Everybody on the side of IG is low, but it doesn't matter. Sloth picks up one. Coach Island K is still taking up everything. Ziggy is back at full HP. Azure has no health, trying to channel this recall as the rest of Kraken is respond. The snipe doesn't hit because Katori blocks it, and they're going to get out of the side of IG. Kraken loses both Nexus turrets, but they're able to keep their Nexus alive somehow, some way. They're still breathing in this game.
Sloth flashes forward, you're right, interrupted on all of his abilities, but doesn't take any damage, is able to walk back to base, and then walks out, and last hits Paradigm, who is playing a bit too confidently there, gets taken out by the laser of this Victor. And a big shutdown, nearly 1k gold, will finally allow Sloth to pick up some pen. It is going to be the Void Staff, and is that enough? I mean, there's very little MR at all for this Tahm Kench. Sejuani has, quite a little bit with that K-Nick and the Unending Despair. I believe it could be the Jack Show.
Coach Island K is getting engaged on. He's not going to stay alive immediately. He goes down, and Paradigm Shift is back on the map, TPing in. I think they don't even need the soul at this point. I think IG can just walk into the base and focus down the Nexus and send us to game number 2. We see Lost looking forward here, trying to engage on Coach Island K. The passive keeps him not knocked up, and now he is stunned up. He is rooted up, and he's taking a whole lot of damage on the backside. He pops the ultimate to keep himself alive for a little bit longer. They're trading some damage back thanks to Sloth. Lost is about a half HP is gone, but it does not matter because it's going to be healed back up by Ziggy. Paradigm Shift is looking to get the poke down, not landing like the way he wants to. Conduit is still keeping their Nexus alive. Coach Silent K is looking to wrap back around. They're going in. They got the engage on the Ziggy. He hits a one-man encore, but it does not matter because he is already down. And now they're getting the turn back on. Katori has to finally use that ultimate defensively to save Azure Fire, but now they're taking so much damage. Lost is getting burnt up. Paradigm Shift finally opens up that Raid of the Arcane as Coach Silent K is just walking forward, slaps down Azure Fire, and Conduit is turning around the team fight. They pick up 1, 2, 3, and they're looking for the 4th one. Sloth has the damage damage. Finally, it is online. Lost is not long for this world, trying to run away, but Sloth uses the Q to get the movement speed to shut down. Conduit Kraken are back in this game.
Back in this game, that might be game. Pushing down the mid lane, 30 seconds on the crucial members of IG, 10 seconds on this Seraphine. Might just end up being a mid-inhib take here. And the Baron and this Chemtech Drake, with if they had Coach still alive, with the Demolish, maybe they're able to take down this tower a bit faster, but it is going down quite slowly as Chrome decided that he didn't want to walk down and hit the towers with his team. But an overcommit from IG. I mean, they considered themselves, we don't need Sol, we don't need Baron to end, we don't even need any waves. They don't even take the team fight. Lost just walks straight through and starts hitting the Nexus there. Instead, finally, Conduit get a beautiful engage. Coach is there and is able to frontline perfectly for his team. It's enough time that Chrome respawns, the curtains open, and the damage comes through from everyone. Sloth got 2, I think, maybe more. No, it was 2.
It was 2, yep.
1K shutdowns. So nearly. Rabadon's completed for him. He was barely even finished 2 items. Baron is being started now by IG. Conduit took too long on their reset. Is the steal possible?
Depends on if they get in range. It's already down. Jesus Juice is on vision right now, but it does not matter. They're going to try to push down the mid lane on the side of Conduit Kraken just to have the wave in a beneficial spot for themselves. They do have the super minion advantage at this point, so for the most part, this mid lane will be pushed out. They got to clear out this bottom wave, which you see them moving to go to do so now, and it is just a stalemate at this point. Both teams are on that soul point. The 7th dragon of this game, if we get to that point, will be soul for whichever team is able to pick this one up. We've had 6 dragons, 2 barons, an Otacon, and 3 void grubs spawn in this game. Man, it feels like good old League of Legends hour-long games back in like season 5, season 6.
It does. Unfortunately, I mean, Conduit, a split call on what they want to do after that ace there. Half of them go down the mid lane. Chrome goes towards the dragon. He takes it too slowly. The tower goes down too slowly too. Then they lose the Baron. I think, I mean, if the call isn't that they can end there, they should have just not gotten the inhib, I think. I don't think they needed to. Go Baron, go Chemtech, reset, spend the gold, group up as 5, and then play the siege from there. Now they're on the back foot once again as IG pours into their base. Root out from
they're looking to go in on the Coach Silent K here. Coach Silent K is going to drop to about half HP, taking all this poke, but he still has the ultimate that he's sitting on. But at the meantime, the mid lane is still baroned up, so it's going to take down that turret. the inhibitor. And now at this point, they're looking to get that second inhibitor down in this bot lane. They have a wave there as well to push for this one. The curtain is going to open up, and so far it's only hitting onto Tori, but Paradigm Shift responds with an ultimate of his own, hitting onto onto Chrome alone. But Sloth is alive, and he is doing so much damage. Chaos Storm is going on to the backside. He already has a double kill in this fight. Tori is trying to get himself out of this one, but it does not matter because Sloth is not going to get that another kill, but he's going to get the 4th with his team. Azure is down, and now it is just Katori against the world. Paradigm, you might have sniped down Chrome alone, but you have lost the game for your team. IG might have lost the game even with an open Nexus. Conduit is going to have to push down this mid lane with what they have. They have about 20 seconds before Ziggy is back on the map for this one. I don't know if they will be able to do it. This is going to be a close game-ending push here for the side of Conduit Kraken.
It is going to be close. 10 seconds now on Ziggy. He does have ult available. Can he hold against the members of Conduit as they look to end the game? The minions are pouring in and Ziggy respawns. The first tower is getting hit. Ziggy, can you do it?
All right, they're going in onto Ziggy. They're trying to CC him down. The first turret down, the second turret down. Azure is up in 4 seconds, but it doesn't matter. Sloth is going to flash away. The Nexus is open. The Nexus is hit, and it is down. Conduit Kraken take game number 1 in comeback fashion.
Look at that damage from Paradigm Shift there. 61,000. Very close game. I think an overcommit from IG in multiple fights. I mean, a Conduit did the same thing, right? But I mean, you've got Baron at the end of the game there. You know, you've still got items coming in for your Jinx. Only has 4 items. You know, there's still a full other item there for Jinx, another item for Xerath. You don't need to force end the game there. There's still a tier 2 in top lane. It's still, you know, a tier 3, an inhib. to play. You could have triple inhib, Baron enhanced minions pushing the Nexus there is so much of a harder position to play if you're Conduit. Instead, again, rushing to try to end the game ends up going in Conduit's favor. The team fights, their comp favors that so much more heavily than IG's comp did. And the Victor finally came online, and the damage that they didn't have earlier on, Conduit did end up building damage items, and I think those 2 1k shutdowns really cost IG so much. Full Void Staff, Rabadon's completed, it hurt them so much.
Yeah, and I mean, even with their Nexus open and IG trying to force the game end, Conduit just kept themselves calm, cool, and collected. They were able to get the kills they needed. They were able to stop them from getting the Dragon Soul, which could have been disastrous in one of those last team fights. They just kept the game controlled and were able to turn it around at the crucial end game team fights. Even though Chrome alone, yes, he went like 3 and 7 on the Jhin, because Paradigm Shift every team fight used that ultimate onto him, it forced himself to also be completely still and the engage to come out from Conduit Kraken to be able to turn around those last 2 fights, which was crucial for them to pick up a much needed game number 1 win, where IG looked like the dominant team for a majority of that one. But we're going to head to a short break here as we get ready for both teams to get into game number 2 draft. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back for game number 2 between Conduit, Kraken, and Imperial Gaming. Imperial Gaming choosing to take the red side here in game number 2, so Conduit Kraken going to be on the blue side. And so far, the Lilia ban is still sticking true for the series so far.
Is this Silas ban a mid focus or is it a jungle focus? I'm not too sure. Let me know. Is this like a... Because I'm seeing a lot of prioritization towards the jungle right now. But the Silas is there too.
I think it's a mid ban. I'm not positive because Sloth is a sub on this team. So let me go do some research here. Let me go check that one
Interesting.
out. But so far, bans are still being kept the same for both teams.
They are indeed. Braum getting banned away. And now the Amumu. What's going to be first pick? It's going to be the MF. So the Braum ban makes sense. Leona is banned due to Fearless. So it will not be, the MF Leona. Very standard comp. Still lots of things you can play with it. You can play Rel, other engaged supports, Alistar. What's going to be the answer from IRG? I mean, into the MF, you could play something like Varus, try to outrange. You could take away some of the engaged supports, right? You could take away something like the Leona, the Alistar. You could go towards the jungle yourself and prioritize something more. It's going to be the Kai'Sa getting picked against the MF, which is going to struggle against lane quite a lot in the early game. It's going to, depend a bit more on the support pickup there, which is going to be Nautilus. So very strong 2 right now for the for the bot lane of IG.
Yeah, and because Conduit banned away the Braum, IG is just free to pick this Nautilus. That is, Braum is the hardest counter to Nautilus. I was talking about it in my series I played last night, and then afterwards, I don't like this Nautilus champ right now in the state of League of Legends. I think he is a super bad support right now because every support that is good just innately beats Nautilus. I feel like he's in a really bad spot, but they're just going to go with the pairing of the Kai'Sa Nautilus. But the Alistar is also a very good answer into the Nautilus. It keeps him stuck in that fight the similar way a Braum does. Once you queue in this Nautilus as Nautilus, you're going to get knocked up by the Alistar. He's going to walk behind you. He's going to headbutt you back even further away from your team. It's going to be a big issue. But if he does get a good engage, it's still Nautilus. He still kind of does what he wants sometimes. But I mean, I like the Misfortune pick. Ooh, a Pantheon jungle pick up here for Jesus Juice.
Lovely.
I'm a big fan of this Pantheon champion in the current state of the game. I think he is super strong. They tried to nerf him a little bit, but they're not going to really touch him anymore because in solo queue, he's got like a 46% win rate in the jungle. He's just really strong in the competitive setting because of that ultimate.
I also think that it's the the W, right? In competitive setting. I mean, Vi has been like meta for so long. That's another reason why Nautilus, does maybe get a bit stumped in lane by a lot of the other supports, but has that guaranteed confirm ultimate, right? Plus the autos that, like, that's what you're playing for, right? You're playing for the guaranteed engage, which I think is why Pantheon is kind of seeing this resurgence. I mean, obviously the buffs help him, but now teams still going towards it regardless. And yeah, the global pressure, the semi-global pressure makes it really hard to play on side lanes. I love the Alistar. Mid lane bans coming through for IG right now. I would love an Ahri. I don't know if Conduit can play Ahri, but Ahri this game with the Pantheon up against the, Kai'Sa or Viega, I really like it. I think it's a good takeaway as well. But yeah, I imagine mid lane bends nonetheless.
I think another really good champion in, I don't know if Conduit plays it because Sloth is originally an 80 carry main, is like Talia.
Oh.
Is really good against the IG draft right now with the Nautilus and the Viego, and you pair it up with the Alistar and with the Pantheon who just give you a free flick back on that E. I think Talia would be a really good pick if Sloth has that champion in his wheelhouse. But I'm not sure if they do, but right now we're just getting some mid lane bans. No Hui, no Syndra, and then a Mordekaiser ban away from Coach Silent K. I assume again up in that top lane. I assume Coach is just going to look for another one of these tank engaged champions. And with Silas banned away, you're kind of just free to pick a Malphite if you want to. They're not going to be able to get that ultimate if you ban the Silas every game, so you can just freely pick a Nautilus, which is also really good into what IG has drafted so far. It's just free engage for your team as Conduit Kraken. It lets the Misfortune ult just rain hell across the whole team fight if you get that. But it depends on how both these teams want to draft. They're still looking for both top laners and both junglers for both of these teams.
Give me the Orianna pairing up with the Viego, which is quite a strong pairing, and it's not the it's not Jarvan, not Nocturne, but I think it's still great. Obviously, mixing the damage is always a good thing, but yeah, it can still be a ball delivery service. But a ton of damage, ton of scaling damage as well. Viego, Kai'Sa do quite well in the late game. Obviously, the resets from Viego, Orianna a little bit more front loaded, but if is able to land onto the pardon me, if is able to land onto the MF, that MF is getting shredded. I imagine tank. Yeah. Okay. I love the Ari. I'm so happy we picked Ari here. I think Talia was a great shout too. They kind of feel the same. Wow. I'm not gonna lie. I I did not expect the Gnar pickup. Not that it's not good, but because I don't see a lot of these teams go towards picks like Gnar. Like the Mordekaiser ban is like pretty standard for lower divisions, but I'm such a big fan of Conduit's draft.
Yeah, and I mean, there's another champion that you
Ew.
mentioned. No, no, no.
Ew.
This isn't gonna be picked. This is a troll hover because IG's substitute top laner, it plays Vayne top. I don't think it's actually gonna be locked in here for Katori. I think it's just them trolling, and it's just the Malphite pick. It's the champion I
I'm gonna go with
wanted
the Gnar.
Conduit to draft, but I think it's a good pickup by IG. Malphite can beat the Gnar, but if the Gnar is a good Gnar, it will eventually beat the Malphite. I've had to play this matchup when I've played top lane for like filling in for scrims, flex games, ranked solo queue, getting off rolled. It could be hell, but Malphite can solo kill a Gnar. But if the Gnar gets ever so slightly ahead, your life as Malphite kind of becomes hell if they know how to play the matchup really well. And that's going to be the question of if Coach Silent K is able to play this one. But there was a champion that you mentioned earlier that I think teams should start looking at now that we're going into Game 2 draft is done. None of these 10 champions is that Renekton. I think that champion is in a very strong state in the game. Just not a lot of people are willing to pick it up because it is one of those top laners that like you're going to go 5-0 at the start of the game, or you're going to go 0-5. And a lot of people don't want to be doing that coin flip in these playoff games or in like this lower elo. But I agree with you. I am a big fan of this Conduit draft. I think IG just has the better engage options with the Nautilus and the Malphite, followed up by an Orianna Shockwave, and then Kai'Sa and Viego can follow it up. They're just kind of playing full dive with Orianna being in the back line by herself.
Yeah, I mean, Conduit's team fight is really strong, sure, but it's harder, right? Because it's very single target. You have to layer the CC correctly. If you do it at the wrong time, you're going to run into, pardon me, diminishing returns there. So, if you're able to find, the Nautilus, the Viego, the Orianna, the Kai'Sa, whatever, in the jungle or catch them out with Pantheon, Ari Charm, Alistair Knockup, plus the damage that's, Pantheon Ari does a ton of damage. Obviously, MF with I think like one of the biggest reasons MF is so strong is that she's allowed to build Bloodthirster Infinitia as her first 2 items and doesn't need to go boots until later because of the passive. That build is just so much AD, it's ridiculous. She does tons and tons of damage if she's able to channel her ult and even just hit like tons of Qs. But yeah, I love Conduit's draft, but I do think that IG have a much easier time starting the engage whenever they feel like they have a lot more options, whereas Conduit is really just like, okay, can we play side lane with Pantheon, like with an ult? No? Okay, great. Can we group team fights and stun the first person or catch one out? No, it's kind of done. Like the team comp is a lot harder to play. Alistair can find the engage, sure, but your team fight has to be so synergistic. Whereas IG, I mean, Malphite presses R with Orianna. Also, Viego's invisible. Nautilus presses R on anyone and it's fine. Kai'Sa, right clicks someone. It's a lot more simple for IG. And they have a lot of options, right? They've got tons of targets. There's no real true tank for Conduit here. So I think this is going to be a lot of fighting for this game.
Oh, yeah. And I am excited for that one. We're going to be going to a short break to determine if IG is able to get their first win on the board or if Conduit Kraken is going to send us to match point. Do not go anywhere. We're going to head to a break as we wait for spectator delay, and we'll be right back. And we are back for game number 2 between Conduit Kraken and Imperial Gaming. And before we start any of this action, a quick shout out to ProComps, our sponsor and a game changer app for the league community. This isn't just like the other tools, it's your personal draft coach, perfect for both teams and solo players. In fact, you can pair it with any other app you use. With ProComps, you'll receive real-time drafting advice with tailored champion picks and band recommendations. It stands out with the features such as the ability to generate champion pools in seconds. I lost myself. that you can share with your friends, a post-draft guide to attack the game. You can generate comps based on your preferences. Coaches and analysts can even create personalized tier lists. Think of it as having a virtual coach and strategy toolkit all in one. The app has already over 280,000 downloads and thousands of daily users like you. Pro Comps is user-friendly and totally free. It's a no-brainer to at least give it a go. Download Pro Comps now and you'll experience a whole new level of drafting power in your league games. Go to procomps.gg, download it from Overwolf, or click the link in our bio.
All right. And now we're here. Again, walking in for some vision early, getting some wards down on these camps, but nothing too crazy, no scuffling happening. But yeah, these drafts are beautiful. I'm super happy that we can see them. Yes, Electrocute is a rune that does do that, but a really good trade back actually from Paradigm to even that out. I think level 6. I mean, it's pretty easy to say that, right? Level 6 is when you get your best ability online, but look at these drafts. Look at how many of these champions do really well at level 6. I imagine a fairly slower start unless Pantheon can really find some angles or, MF can do some meaningful poke, but I mean, level 6 is going to explode this game, and I'm excited to see what happens at that fight.
Yeah, and we see in the bot lane that Ziggy is trying to look for the angle to get the hook on, but because Coach Silent K got that level 2, he's just going to do a trade a little bit, but now Raven is going in, gets the headbutt pulverize combo, going to get hooked back in by Ziggy, but they are both taking a lot of damage from Chrome alone. Azure is below half HP, and an interesting thing to me is that Coach Silent K has gone for the fleet footwork in the top lane. A lot of times I see the grasp in this matchup because you just get two hyper procs onto the Malphite, and then when you have the grasp ready to go, you just hit the third hyper proc and get a huge chunk of damage out in that trade. So definitely an interesting one, not something I was expecting in this matchup, but the bot lane is going swimmingly so far for Chrome and Raven, absolutely dominating in this 2v2 right now. Yes, the CS is even, but the HP bars are where it is differing, and they're able to get an early crash and get a cheater recall off for themselves.
Yeah, it's going to bounce back towards them. I mean, you were talking about in the draft how well the Alistar can be at keeping Nautilus in the fight in a similar fashion than Braum. But in the lane, right, Alistar functions as basically like a doorstop. Like, no, you cannot engage ever. You find a hook, no, it's gone. You've been headbutt away. You can never find an angle as Nautilus in the early portions of this lane. You're going to have Last rotate over and do something here. But the Pantheon Jesus Juice has rotated over. Health bars for Kai'Sa is still low.
Yeah, and they're looking to go for this one. Ziggy's in the bush and out of vision, but now Alyssa Raven gets the headbutt, pulverize, cancel, and Ziggy is going to end up going down. They're going to get first blood over to Chroma alone, and quick on the board is Conduit Kraken in this game number 2, but now losses in the top lane. He could look to go in onto Coach Silent K, but with him about to turn Mega, I don't think it's something they want to be looking for, but as I say that, they're going for it. He just crunches his way out of there and is A-okay up in the top lane. Looking good so far in these first couple of minutes for Conduit Kraken.
Pulverize cancels Ziggy's hook on the wall there. Beautiful look. Wait, Pantheon back in mid. More action.
Paradigm Shift is going to have to flash away, but an immediate response by Jesus Juice. Nice charm, and Comet Spear picked that one up, and now Katori is looking for a little bit of damage up onto the top lane. Now the coach has gone mini, but he's getting these hyper procs off and is looking to trade it back, and it's doing a pretty good job, but gonna have to recall off of this one. Katori using that Malphite damage that you do not expect to his advantages to win that trade in the top lane, but coach is actually going to stay here, chug his pot away, and look to just heal back up with that fleet footwork. And Azure is just taking even more damage in this bot lane. A nice pulverize there by Raven, looking to get the headbutt, but not going to be in range to do so. Chrome is really just getting some nice trade back and forth with these double ups onto Azure Fire and making the bot lane a real rough time for them. Top laners still staying here with how low their HP bars are. Coach Silent K could have gone a little bit more aggressive, I think, but not going to look to do it.
I mean, I mentioned as the game was starting that I think level 6 is really where this game explodes for, either team when both members go level 6, but Pantheon, I said if he was able to get active early, he is the difference maker. Last, a great lane gank. This is completely unreadable unless our Conduit have some big brains. If he's patient here, he might find an angle.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. They don't know that he's here. Ziggy is trying to bait this the best he can, just walking like nothing is happening. But Chroma and Raven are playing so patiently, going. I know that there was a ping onto the bot side jungle of IG, probably by Jesus. You saying, "Hey, he's probably on these bot camps." Lost doesn't even cancel on that recall, but now Raven's sitting in this bush. They're going in onto her. The hook is hit, and the CC is down. Raven is quickly picked up, even though they flash. Now Chrome is getting CC'd up, is flashed away, but Sloth is here on the backside. Azure Fire had flashed forward. He's super low. The barrier is what keeps the Chrome alive, and now it keeps Azure alive on the backside, but the hook is hit back onto Sloth. There's no more damage, and never mind, the Q comes out. Azure is at 1 HP, Lost is at 2 HP, and flashes away. It is only 1 kill in the bot lane, but all the summoner spells have been used on both sides.
That was very tooth and nail there, that fight. Holy, I find it funny that mid jungle just decided to like handshake. You take the gank, I'll clear your mid wave for you. So Jesus, unfortunately doesn't have ult there. He's not able to land in, because I think that would have completely turned that around. Super patient from Last there. Waited so long to find that engage. Unfortunately, Raven wasn't able to flash away in time, so did flash and die. But Sloth rotates down, nearly cost them their life, alongside Chrome, who had to step back up to try to do some damage. But at the end of the day, it's not bloody, but it is very broken and bruised, because, like you mentioned, all the summoners from the important members, all the flashes are down. Barrier from both AD carries are down. Flashes and Ignite and Exhaust from the 2 supports are both down. And Dragon has spawned. Pantheon does now have that ult available, so can either make towards this bot lane again, Kai'Sa no flash, or look towards the Dragon or Grubs.
Yeah, and I mean, a big thing to note in that play is, yes, Raven did die, but the kill went onto Ziggy. It wasn't even onto Azure or Lost, which is big, and the CS gap that is still in this bot lane between Chrome and Azure still exists because of how low Azure got in that team fight. Almost ended up going down to the Order Deception out of Sloth, but now this Dragon has started up. Jesus Juice is the only one on it. Paradigm and Lost are looking for this run. Raven is looking to zone away them with the help of Sloth as they're trying to go for this one. The Lost is trying to get this engaged. Could look the Heartbreaker and Shockwave, but the Shockwave is used on the Sloth. But in the meantime, Chrome is full channeling the bullet time. Azure Fire is at 1 HP, goes down to Raven. Jesus Juice does end up dying in the pit. Lost is going to claim that soul and try to get this Dragon. He gets a double kill now, and it is going to be really difficult for Chrome and Raven to fight this one out. They're going to try this best, but the hook is hit onto Chrome. There is no flash, there is no barrier, and a triple kill to Lost. That is not what you want to be happening. They're going to continue to chase down Raven on this one. Is it going to be an early game quadra kill? And it is all 4 kills to the carry Diego of Lost in game number 2.
Conduit's team fight, while difficult, is still very one note, right? Need to be grouped up together. CC chaining the first target. Bullet time does so much damage, and Alistar unfortunately has to walk forward and take that last hit. But the whole time that was happening, Jesus Juice in the pit, tanking Dragon by himself, getting really, really low. Sloth on this Ahri, caught out by the shockwave of Paradigm Shift, turned onto by Last. And then both of those members are low, right? They're caught in the pit together. Jesus Juice is taken down before the Dragon comes into smite range. Pantheon has a great Q smite amount of damage.
Oh no, and now in the
This is
meantime,
the
Coach
kill.
just gets
Didn't even need the
solo
gank.
boloed. That is
Why
what
did
I'm
he
talking
wait?
about. That's what I'm talking about when I say Malphite can solo kill this Nard. We saw it there. Solo kill up in the top lane for Katori. Like you said, he didn't even need the gank. He didn't even need to wait and waste his jungler's time. He should have just taken it himself.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. It's always funny, like, you get the confidence because your team's there, but then the team doesn't do any damage, and you're like, oh, I could have just solo killed him if I had just been more confident there. A bit of a stumble for Conduit across the board right now. Multiple members falling over the course of about a minute and a half. But the game hasn't broken open for IG at all still. The team come from Conduit is very strong in the early game and does transition into the late game decently, but I do think heavily gets outscaled, you know, come really late game, you know, full build, Kai'Sa, full upgrade build, Viego the same, you know, Malphite, just a terror in the late game for MF to play against, and to be fair, the Pantheon too. Pantheon's just going to turn into a CC bot late game, right? But a really, really good team fight from IG. It was split off from Conduit. Grubs, 2.5 minutes away from being spawned, and oh, sorry, so I'm completely blind. Grubs have already been taken. I didn't see that at all, but Grand Starfall is available. Could be something that they look for here, but last. Pathing down bot as well, as Jesus Juice does channel the recall. Top laners are still hitting each other for a bit of fun, some padding of the damage stats. 2.5 minutes on Dragon. That icon bugged out, being bugged out does trip me up quite a bit there. Didn't realize that we were 11 minutes in. Another
Yeah,
look
and
from last.
the trading in the top lane has not been going coach's favor, and this is why I'm not the big fan of the fleet footwork Gnar in this matchup, just because Malphite is actually just going to win out on most of these trades when you're in mini form, and we've been seeing that this whole time, and just playing away when you are in that mega form is smart the way Katori's been playing this one. But the bot lane, the CS gap is still there, but the issue is that this Viego is so strong at this point, but they're trying to look for a play in mid. Paradigm is going to have to flash away from the charm to stay alive and is able to do so. Now the top lane, the CS gap is in favor of Coach Silent K. It's a lot of CS advantages for the side of Conduit Kraken, but it's those 4 kills, it's the Dragon, it's the Grubs that is giving IG the game gold advantage so far at this point. And Coach has been on the worst end of a lot of these trades we see every time we pan up there. Katori's just getting all the damage down that he needs to and doing a really good job at it. But really, there's no action to be had for another minute, 15 seconds until this Dragon is on the Rift. We're just going to be seeing all these guys farm up, get their recalls off, and then look to fight for that one. And I say that, and Lost is going to just do some cheeky counter jungling here, take away the Raptors while Coach just says, "No, get out of here, Katori. I don't want to fight right now," and uses the Gnar. And
Smack him a bit.
it could be important because that means there's no Gnar ultimate, even though he does have TP when. Oh, sorry, he doesn't even have TP, so it doesn't even matter that he uses it at that point because he can't even join up for this Dragon play.
The crucial aspect here, Jerome, is this Orianna no flash available up against the Pantheon, the Alistar. I think if they're able to land onto, if Con's able to land onto this Orianna very early, if Shockwave's not going to get enough value, it really comes down to last at this point in the game. Kai'Sa is nowhere near in a position to carry the game just yet. Doesn't have Q evolve, still only level 7, level down on this MF right now. Push bait
looking
here.
for the engage. They're going in onto Lost. He's CC'd up right now. The bullet time is coming out, but it doesn't hit onto anybody. And Chrome just says he's going to just channel it for the action, for the animation. But Lost did have to use Flash there, and that is a nice early pick and advantage for the side of Conduit Kraken. Dragon now being started up here by the side of Imperial Gaming. Katori does have a TP of his own if he wants to go for this play. Dragon is going down. They do a lot of damage for this one, and they're looking to go in. Ziggy hits a hook onto it, but it is stolen away by Jesus Juice. Now Lost has no flash. He's CC'd up, but a 3-man shockwave. It does not matter because the damage is there on the side of Conduit Kraken. Ziggy's taking a lot of damage, uses the locket to keep himself alive. Sloth is flashing forward, picks up his second kill, and now the Azure is going to be in a lot of trouble. Yes, he has both some of his spells flash forward, and it does not matter because the flash is there from Jesus Juice to get the stun. Coach Silent K gets a solo bullet up in the top lane. Both time is being rained down, but the barrier is there, and it does not matter because the Comet Spear is true, and it is a one-team fight across the whole map for the side of Conduit Kraken with a Dragon Steel on top of it.
You can really see the value from this Ari Pantheon, right? These flashes are getting forced so easily. Oh yeah, that did happen somehow. Bye-bye. But yeah, the flashes are getting forced so easily by this Pantheon Orianna duo. And then, you take the fight again, you don't have any flashes. The Shockwave doesn't do anywhere near enough damage with this build so far. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going staff there, going tier, but you don't do any damage, right? You're just scaling, getting your mana up, waiting for late game and try to immune the team fight late game, try to immune the dive that Conduit has. But when you're all inning a second dragon like that, my question is why? What are you getting out of it? Let's say you get the dragon there, like you steal it away. Do you get out? Probably not. Probably the same team fight happens. Do you kill everybody there? Maybe. That's a big risk to take when the team fight went as badly as it did. Instead, you're already up a dragon. You give the dragon over. It's only one dragon to each team now. And then you continue to farm. You push out some side lanes, maybe even make a play in the top lane. Herald is getting looked at now by IG as Coach does go into that mega form.
Yeah, Lost is having to run for the hills right now because IG doesn't have the advantage. Katori could get caught out here if Coach wants to go for the Gnar into the wall, but not looking for that angle. They are on vision, and Paradigm Shift is trying to get a flank here with Ziggy, but now the CC is coming down, and Katori is just going to be deleted off of the map, and that is the power you were talking about with the Pantheon Ari combo, just immediately getting a pick off and letting them have full control of Rift Herald in this game number 2, not giving away as many neutral objectives as they did in game number 1. Conduit Kraken is looking to put us into a match point here the way they are playing this early game.
If you're a team in any division, I will say, and you cannot play a comp like Conduits, you need to be able to play a comp like Conduits. You need to go back into practice tool and learn how to play a draft like this, because it is so straightforward as in execution, right? We press our CC buttons on the enemy target who walks in first and kill them instantly. Try to kill them instantly. But I consistently see teams not go towards a draft like this. I'm not even saying that the game is over for Conduit. It's not. This comp has hard aspects to it later on when, you know, the scaling is not in favor of you anymore. But this early game it just looks easy for Conduit. I mean, they make a mistake around an early fight in bot side, sure. Viego gets a quadra kill, sure. It just doesn't matter. The team fight is too strong for Conduit. I think that I love this comp. I really would love to see more teams go to something like this. Pantheon hasn't even altered to a side lane this entire... I don't think he's pressed R yet the whole game.
Yeah, and he actually has it. You're right on that one. And I know you were talking about the Orianna build earlier, and I'm also just not a fan of it. It is so defensive. It feels like you do no damage as this champion right now, and that really puts all this pressure onto Lost to be this sole damage dealer in the early game. And as I said, I've been looking for a play right now to Chrome alone. Raven is going to create some space with a nice headbutt pulverized, and Jesus Juice is here. TP is being channeled by Coach Silent K, but Ziggy is just going to go down to the bullet time, and Jesus Juice is able to pick that one up. Coach Silent K is here now, and he's stacking up that range bar. They could look to dive this one if they really want to. There are 5 Conduit members down here in this bot lane. Coach goes mega, and they're looking for it. They're looking for it. They're hunting for it. They're trying to get this one, but a nice 2-man shockwave by Paradigm Shift is already used, but now the CC is out, and it is alive, and it is down for loss. And now Paradigm Shift and Azure are going to have to run all the way under their tier 2. First turret is going to be picked up here by the side of Conduit Kraken, and it's not even going to cost him a top lane tier 1 because that is a Malphite up there. He does not take those turrets quickly. Conduit is executing on this draft flawlessly so far in this game.
Yeah, I want to know who's making these drafts. Is it Coach Silent going out of the coach position into player, coming off the bench? Coaches do play apparently, and he's playing pretty well right now. 2 under his name. Malphite, like you said, not even going to be able to get the consolation prize. No TP for him. A lot of CS in his favor, which he was down a significant amount beforehand for that fight. But Conduit are running away with this game. Now a very solid gold lead. This next dragon has just spawned, and it's not that important, right? It's Chemtech Soul again. If IG fight this after losing the last 2 fights in the way they just did, I would be very disappointed. I think that even so Conduit can choose not to fight this and play for this top tier 1 as well and give this dragon.
Yeah, and it looks like that's the call that they're making. You see Coach Silent K is in the top lane. You see Chrome and Raven in the mid lane. Sloth is like in the area, but it does not matter.
Heralding top 2, yeah?
Yeah, we're going for this top tier 2 turret, and it is spawned up there. And in the meantime, running away from the mid lane because they're like, hey, we know that they're coming. Raven and Chrome are going to meet up in the top lane. They might even break an inhibitor turret at this point in the game if they really do feel like it. With 4 members up in the top lane, Coach Silent K is taking this Herald, and he's saying, no. We don't need to take it at this point. He is running for the hills, trying to bring this all the way to mid lane is what he's trying to do.
He's just practicing. He's got his drivers test up soon.
Yeah, he's Tokyo drifting, and the Rift Herald is going to be in this mid lane now. I don't think it's going to get any damage onto this turret because we see Azure's walking over, hits a snipe onto it, gets 1 auto, gets 2 auto, and is able to pick it up before the charge does come out. But Conduit Kraken playing a really smart macro game as well.
Yeah, genuinely really good macro there. That was a great decision. I always love talking about how that specific dragon, when both teams have 1 dragon each, that dragon is the most useless dragon possible, right? Especially when it's Chemtech Soul, right? I mean, you're going to rather have Soul than not have it, obviously, but you don't ever want to flip the game on a fight like that. Coach has decided, okay, I don't have TP guys. I don't want to rotate. Let's play top tower. Instead, they do. They get so much gold off of that play for what? Nothing, basically, for IG. They get some waves. They get one Chemtech Drake. And at the time, Sloth is pushing down bot. Everyone's still collecting their waves. A really net positive play from Conduit.
Yeah, and I mean, just the way that they have been playing this macro game, and just like you said, it's another Chemtech soul in this game. This is 2 games in a row now with it, which a lot of people, like you said, say it is the worst Dragon Soul in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if Conduit Kraken is literally like, we don't care about this soul. We can give them the rest of the Drakes this game and just grab an Elder Dragon for ourselves and win. We'll just take all the turrets, we'll play a smarter macro game, and then just be able to win through that method. And now they're looking for another pick here. They are just roaming around as this strong CC 4-man unit or 3-man unit. Chrome's really just there for the damage, but I really just like the way the Conduit has been playing this map. Yes, the tier 1 in mid lane is still up, which is kind of the most important turret of the game, but the way they're playing is so smart because they know they'll eventually break this one. And Katori is just proxy farming at this point. He tried to run up and break the turret, but it was not possible. Now Coach Silent K is looking for some damage, forcing the ultimate out. Now he's flashing after him himself. I don't think we need to be flashing for this one, Coach, because the blast code is just there and Katori is out. A questionable flash nonetheless.
Yeah, he was feeling it. He was really excited, and he saw a bit of red there. I think if Jesus Juice was in position to land Grand Starfall there for the first time this game, that's a fine flash to continue the chase. Potentially force out Malphite, flash, or ult, which he wasn't able to force out the flash, unfortunately. It would have been really nice if he was able to land the Gnar ult instead, the shove there. It's kind of slap. It's a very fun ult to watch. You know what's a great interaction, actually, since we've got a bit of downtime here, is we've seen a lot of Sylas being banned away. And we're talking about the Sylas Malphite match, but Sylas with, for IG this game, it would actually be so good. You've got Ahri ult, which is great. Alistar ult, which Sylas makes use of incredibly. He becomes tanky. And Gnar ult. Gnar ult with Sylas is really strong too.
Yeah, it's actually so a lot of people say that Alistar ult is super good on Sylas. I don't think it's as good as people say because it just gives you it gives you the resistances, but if your team just stalls it, it's cool, it's okay, you just draft enough CC and you just don't worry about it. And that's look, since we got this downtime as Conduit Kraken is sieging the tier 2, there was one time I was playing, never mind, we're not going to have any downtime at all because Ziggy is just instantly deleted as Lost in Paradigm when trying to get the flank, and Conduit Kraken just stopped that play in its tracks. But back to the Chong Salmo story. There was a time I was in a scrim and I was playing Alistar against the Sylas, and he stole my ultimate and used it, and I literally just CC'd him for the full duration and juked 4 of his E combos. I eventually died, but I wasted so much of his time, and we ended up we lost the game, but it was just the funniest thing interaction I've ever had. And this mid lane turret is on its last breath. I think it has 10 HP, and they can just walk up and out of this one if they truly wanted to. But this next dragon is spawning on the Rift in 5 seconds. The mid lane push is in favor of IG right now, but it can be quickly picked back up by the side of Conduit Kraken. Coach Silent K is trying to get a recall off before this fight does start up. Has a TP.
Oh, look at the TP ward at the buff. Blue buff TP ward.
Oh,
he's in the middle. Hang on.
He's TPing right into the middle of everybody. He is trying to get this range bar stacked up quickly. Ultimate is used by the side of Jesus Juice. He's CC'd up in the front line, but it does not matter because they're going right back onto Katori. A 5-man Gnar! And that is a 1 team fight for Conduit Kraken. Disgusting play out of Coach Silent K in that team fight to win it so flawlessly for his team. My God, man, that was beautiful.
If you do not play a team comp like Conduits, you need to go into practice tool and learn these champions. This team fight from Conduit is so effective at shutting down everything that IG want to do. All the ults from IG were used. Actually, no, not true. Shockwave, not used during that fight. So it was taken out before was able to get that ult available. But Malphite ult used. Yeah, actually, you're right. I'm completely wrong. I looked at Malphite ult and thought to myself, okay, all the ults were used. That's not true. All the ults are available. The crucial ones here. No Killer Instinct from Kai'Sa, no Depth Charge from Nautilus, no Shockwave from Orianna used in that fight. Conduit just kill you faster than you're able to get your kit off. That 4-man Gnar was disgustingly good.
Yeah, and I mean, we were like, oh no, he's TPing into everybody, but his Gnar bar was basically full when he
was
TP'd
full.
into that fight. So he just threw out a Q, used the E, was in Mega Gnar form, and just hit the crucial ult, which Chrome followed up on perfectly with the bullet time. And Jesus Juice, yeah, he got CC'd up when he ulted in, but it did not matter. Oh man, they're looking for Coach Silent K. They are angry, and I don't know if the Star lives. They are using everything onto him. Unstoppable Force Heartbreaker is brought out and shut down over to Lost, picking up his 5th kill of the game. But that I don't really think that matters. You can see Chrome is pushing in the mid lane. They're gonna give up the Baron control with Jesus Juice and everything, but now Sloth is going in on the Paradigm Shift. It's getting a lot of damage down. Using the ultimate, the Shockwave is used, but it does not matter because Sloth just picks up that kill, unstoppable on this Ahri. Now Baron is being started up by Imperial Gaming. They do a lot of damage to this. They have a Fed, Viego, and they have a Kai'Sa who does a lot of percentile health damage to these neutral objectives. Raven is in the area. They're taking this one, but they do not care. Sloth is TPing, and now Comet, the Grand Starfall is used. They're trying to chase this one out,
unlucky.
but they are already gone on the side of IG. Never mind, they're being chased down. The slow is used. The mid lane turret falls to the minions. They're trying to still chase this one out and get these pickup kills on the backside, but they are just not in range to do so. They are gonna get out with the Baron of IG, and maybe a little bit over ambitious by the side of Conduit. Kraken tried to go for that chase down, but I think in the grand scheme of it, it doesn't really matter because they still picked up the turret in the mid lane because of the push from Chrome alone. They were just trying to get something on the backside. They still have the advantage in this game.
Yeah, I think that the catch onto Coach was great there, but 3 ults we used, 3 crucial ults, right? They used Killer Instinct, they used the Malphite ult, they used Heartbreaker, like you mentioned. I think it was fightable. If you're in a position where, thank you, Unsolvable Force. I don't see enough Malphite, to be honest. He's Rock. Rock go in. RATP, right? I mean, Jesus Juice has the Grand Starfall. I feel like they can fight that, but it was too late.
They're looking back for Lost. Lost is going to be able to see this one out, and they're trying to turn this one back on Jesus Juice and onto Sloth. The Grand Starfall was used. No, it wasn't. I lied. The Heartbreaker was used, but it does not matter because Sloth is turning this one back. Killer Instinct and Barrier are used. Flash forward by Ziggy, but he's CC'd on the turn. He's taking a lot of damage, but he does not get the important one out of Sloth to come back. Ziggy and both Azure are super low, and we see Raven and Chroma running on the minimap. But in the meantime, Coach on K is going to have to run for his life away from Katori because he does so much damage, but it does not matter. Paradigm Shift died in the meantime as well, and Azure and Ziggy are going to get away with this one after taking the mid lane tier 1 turret finally at 28 minutes into the game.
Almost worth, I will say. They get Malphite ult in top. He's not able to get the tier 2. They shut down the Viego again, right? Pantheon gets that kill. Really nice. Really, really nice. But Kai'Sa gets the shutdown off of, believe it was the RA, but could have been the Pantheon shutdown. She got a huge shutdown. Didn't see which one it was. She got one of them. And has now completed 3 items. So is now ahead of the MF in items. Ahead of Chrome alone. This is a big deal, right? We're coming up on Soul Point now. This is an important dragon. Even if, you know, you don't love Chemtech Soul, you would rather have it than not have it. Teams are not going to, you know, give over Soul. They might give over Soul Point. I don't think that this is a situation in which you want to give over Soul Point, however. You know, you've just made a mistake. Baron is still on members of IG. If you want to give, I mean, it's because you don't have vision, right? TP for Coach. He can't get a tier 2 in top. There's really nothing tradable.
Oh, they're
the
looking to
commit
dive
onto
Sloth
Sloth.
right now. He gets the charm down onto Paradigm. He does a lot of damage, but it does not matter. The Unstoppable Force and the Command Shockwave are used. Also, so is the Heartbreaker. But because of that, that is 3 crucial ultimates used by the side of IG. It could still be fightable for the side of Conduit Kraken.
They're running it
Conduit
down.
Kraken is just saying, hey, we don't care about this dragon. We are going to break open your base. And they are taking down this mid lane inhibitor turret. Coach Silent K is split pushing in the top lane as well. They know that they are behind them. They know they don't have much time. They can break this inhibitor and they can run up to Coach Silent K to join up in this one. They are They're looking to pick this one off. Lost is looking to go in. Chrome is gonna get out of this one. They are still chasing this down. The top turret is also gonna go down. Coach on K trying to build up this Nard bar. They are still looking on the side of IG, but they have no engage ultimates. Coach on K taking a lot of damage. He can look for a Nard. He gets off 4 Nard man back and gets the space needed. But now the death charge is used by Coach Silent K. By Ziggy onto Coach Silent K. Coach Silent K is gonna go down. The bullet time is gonna be used onto multiple people, but now Chrome could be the one in trouble, and so could Raven. Raven could kite this one out and create the space that the team needs. Heartbreaker is back up and it is used by Lost, but a nice headbutt to stall this one out. Azure is trying to get in range to follow this one up. The Ensemble Force is finally back up, and it is quickly used to shut down Chrome alone, and now Raven is in trouble. Jesus Juice is saying, hey, I'm sorry, you're going to be turned into ground beef, because never mind. Raven uses the flash and is able to escape this one, but now that is Dragon going over to the side of IG. They may have won the team fight, but their base is in shambles.
Yeah, pardon me. The minions are also able to take out that top tier 3, that inhib turret, while the chase was on. This is going to mean Soul Point over to IG. I think Coach did a great job of ulting away there and peeling for his team. And yes, he's going to have to die. That's fine. Sometimes you take that. I don't love that Conduit kind of want to turn. They're kind of half turning. MF ult was channeled too long, I think. I think Coach goes in there, ults everyone away, and your whole team is out. I think that Chrome potentially could have even flushed a wall a bit earlier. I mean, I can just say from this position, sitting in my chair comfortable, just flash Unstoppable Force, kick W, but obviously it's a lot harder to do that in a game that you're stressed about than it is for me to say that he should have flashed it. But I still think, I think that Conduit was out there. I think that they could have gotten out, but they try to turn around multiple times. You know, it's close, but IG get a lot out of that play. More shutdowns, waste a lot of Conduit's time. Baron, 30 seconds away.
He's going to take the Super Blast Cone right into Ziggy, and he's going to be CC'd up. He's going to crunch over the wall and be able to get another Super Blast Cone. He's going to be getting out of this one. I think he's just gone. They're going to keep looking for him. Does he have the TP? He can look the TP out, but he's channeling the recall right now. They don't know where he is. Ziggy's going to find him in a second. Hits the depth charge onto him, and the rest of the team is trying to go for this one. But Lost has died up in the top lane too. G's Juice to the rest of the side of Conduit Kraken, and now the depth charge is used onto it. Azure is not in range to follow this one up, but Paradigm Shift is able to be there, and it is going to go down. Coach Silent K is going to fall, but because Lost has fallen, and because Conduit Kraken is in the top side of this map, they are able to start this Baron on spawn while the base is still in shambles for the side of IG. Azure going to have to clear this one up. Katori is here. He has ultimate. Paradigm has TP. They can look for this one. The bullet time is just being used for DPS on the Baron, and because IG is too far from this one, that is going to be Baron over to the side of Conduit Kraken.
It's like the exact same play, but it's flipped this time. Instead, Coach is caught on the bot side of the map, and his team is in top side. So yeah, they overcommit, and this time he buys tons of time. He's just tanky enough now and lives through most of the damage. I think Paradigm doesn't use Shockwave there, which is a bit questionable, I think. I think that maybe they could have caught him faster there, but yeah, as well, Malphite isn't there. So on top of Force being a great CC layering tool, you basically just need to try to one-shot the Gnar there and get up to top side as quickly as you can. Dragon, 2.5 minutes away, so won't be on this Baron timer until the very end. So Conduit needed to use this Baron to set up vision if they want to go deny this soul. Tier 2 tower in bot.
Charm does not hit though. So close, but Jesus flashes forward, but a nice buffer out of Lost with the Heartbreaker and is able to escape from this one. He got the flash out of Jesus Juice and is able to survive. And now the rest of IG can be looking. A Charm onto Katori. Raven dodges out of the hook coming, but now Katori doesn't have the ball on him anymore, so he's not going to look to engage and have that followed up. But Chrome has flash, has barrier. Could look for this one. Coach Sound KTP, and he is still in mini Nard, but that range bar is full. He's just going to get a nice stun onto Tori as the rest of the combos coming out. A headbutt pulverized, and he is onto the back line there, onto Sloth, but in the side lane, Paradigm is losing the 1v1 to Chrome Lone. Chrome Lone is not going to open up as Coach Sound K has fallen down. Lost can pick up that, so Tori is dead to Sloth on the backside. Now it is IG running to the hills as the rest of it is pushing in. Never mind, Conduit Kraken is looking onto Paradigm Shift now. He's trying to get under the turret, but he is not going to be able to get there. Now Kraken is looking to break the base. They have the Baron. They do not have a wave though. They can look to go to the top lane and break the inhibitor down there. Ziggy hits the hook and immediately flashed away. Sloth is going to hit the charm onto Azure, and Azure is down, and so is the rest of IG. Conduit Kraken takes the team fight takes the win and sends up 2 match point against Imperial Gaming. Oh, no, the
Oh.
inhibitors respawned. Oh,
He's
no.
DC'd before the game ends. Oh,
It
that
doesn't-
might be a bit of mental break there for IG. Lastly, maybe he's just keen to get into the draft for game 2, but the IG are in a position where they were going to win game 1 if they just played it a little bit better in the late game, a little bit slower, and closed that game out. Instead, now you're staring down the barrel of 2-0, being 3-0'd, getting eliminated from playoffs and finals in this wild card match. I mean, you have to play up against, the top seeds if you do that, but still, I mean, it's more chances. I imagine it's pretty rough. Damage from Viego there, didn't have the best game, but man, that Conduit draft was so nice. They made some mistakes. They lost Baron, lost some dragons. It doesn't matter. They played their team fights really well. They didn't even need to, I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe Conduit's overplaying in mid here a bit. Be careful, guys. I think that Coach can split push, find the tier 2 with Baron, wrap around. I see him TPing. Maybe there's a TP ward behind. No, they're just 5-man down mid. It doesn't matter. The team fight's great. Malphite is not with his team at all. Ults in, disrupts the MF, sure. But MF wasn't ulting, right? So it doesn't disrupt enough. And the game is just over.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, also, the way Jesus Juice and Sloth played as this 2-man unit was so impressive in this game, and Raven also finding some crucial engages when necessary, but also not overextending, being this, not primary engage, waiting for a charm to hit or Jesus Juice to hit one of those stuns and then immediately follows it up. The way Conduit played out this draft, like you were saying, Beto, was just absolutely flawless. And now the question becomes, what does IG have left in this tank? What is going to get them to get this reverse sweep? Because they are looking down the barrel of being eliminated from playoffs in a swift 3-0 fashion. The only way we'll figure out if IG is able to come back into this one is when we come back for the game number 3 draft. We're going to head to a short break here as we wait for the players to recover and for us to catch our breath after the end of that game. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back. And we are back for game number 3 between Conduit, Kraken, and Imperial Gaming. And a big thing before we get into this draft, a couple of role
Mhm.
swaps have come out for the side of IG. For this game,
Yep.
Azure X Fire will be playing mid lane, Ziggy will be playing AD carry, and Paradigm Shift will be playing support. I'm not sure how much is going to help, to be honest here.
Well, this could be a scout ban for the Zeri here. Quick, type in op.gg, type in their name, check what they play. It might be a Zeri, or potentially banning something away that they think is going to be played a little bit more in later fearless drafts. Looking to pick something that's up here, but I don't think they've left anything up. Still, the Silas, the Wukong, the Amumu, all banned away against Conduit. Still think a lot of prioritization towards the AD carries. Varus is still available, which is quite an all-encompassing AD. Ashe as well, if you wanted to go that early. But we'll have to see, as time is ticking away for Conduit. Really thinking about what they want to go. It's going to be the Volley Bear. Very different look.
So the reason the Zeri is banned is not for Ziggy AD
Mhm.
carry. It's for Azure mid lane. He plays AD
Really?
carries mid, and Zeri is one of his best champions. So that is actually why the
Wow.
Zeri is banned away. And I like that Conduit did their homework, and they were like, hey, if this happens, we know what to ban. And they did exactly that. So I'm very happy to see that one. But that leaves the Caitlyn open, which is Ziggy's best AD
Okay.
carries. So you got to leave something up. It's a little bit of a give and take. But Caitlyn, it's such a one-dimensional champion. You got to play for Caitlyn. You got to play the Caitlyn
Yeah.
style to make this champion work. And the Volibear is already kind of disruptive into Caitlyn, what Caitlyn wants to do. She wants to sit in the back line of a fight,
Okay.
and slowly play it
Is
out,
that
while
record?
Volibear could just dive in. And a Vi pick, interesting. I like the Vi pick, especially because Tom Kench is already out of the pool. So I really do like that one. But like, Tarek is still available. Tarek is still really good into Vi.
Zyra as well is
Ugh,
still up
excuse me.
too. One of
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
best AD
say
carriers.
Zyra
Often
Rakan is
played
still
Divine.
up, very good. Chromalone's Vayne is still available if he does want to bust that one out. But just gonna go
Ooh,
for
Sivir.
Sivir.
I guess
Oh, they're going
Shield.
Sivir Yumi. They're going Sivir Yumi. This is
Sivir
a bot lane that Conduit Kraken has played a whole lot. I would not be shocked to see the Yumi just locked in right
gross.
here.
That's shades of it was like T1 used to do up against Lucian Nami. I can't remember what that was a few years ago, but they used to play Sivir Yumi like Ignite Exhaust, I think, or Heal
Yeah.
Exhaust. They're taking away the
Ooh.
Lux from the Caitlyn. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this Conduit draft right now. It's getting a bit wacky.
I think this is just Lux mid for Sloth, though. I don't think it's Lux support. I think it's going to be Lux mid for Sloth. But then Cassiopeia picked up for the side of IG. It's another one of Azure's champions. I think it's can be good into the Lux matchup. It all just depends on how Lux plays it out if this is a Lux mid. But so far, we're at game 3 Fearless. Excuse me.
They're getting creative.
These drafts are getting creative already with 20 champs out of the pool, and then if you count bans, 26. So definitely starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel, getting that last bit of ice cream out of the jug, trying to get every bit that you want from these drafts. It's going to be definitely interesting to see how the rest of it goes.
So they're convinced this is Volley Bear Jungle then, because they're continuing with this Mordekaiser ban on the second phase bans for IG, which surprises me. I mean, I guess I've been pretty used to watching Baus play Volley Bear, not watching junglers play Volley Bear. The Braum ban makes sense. Caitlyn, one of the best support pairings for Caitlyn. I guess like one of the, the only standard support pairing with Caitlyn left is Thresh. Although I wouldn't mind Pike here. Caitlyn Pike, very squishy, but against the Lux, maybe it's enough. I don't know. Maybe Thresh is something that you want to go towards. They do ban the Yumi. It's just it looks so goofy to me. But obviously, something Conduit like to go towards. I mean, what do you go now with the Sivir, right? I think it's something to help the lane with the Caitlyn or facilitate the push. I would love another engage support here because I think the Conduit are lacking on that front. I think they've got a decent amount of damage, some utility with the Sivir Lux. Maybe it's maybe you want damage though from your top lane as Conduit.
I mean, for Sivir pairings, like Nami is still a good pairing with it. Milio is pretty good pairing for the Sivir as well. You could go like a Tarek or a Thresh even to have a little bit of an engage option. You could go Rakan.
Mm.
Rakan's okay. A
Yeah.
champion that like is good into IG's draft, but isn't a conceptual Sivir pairing.
Caitlyn
Is
Karma.
Renata. I think Renata could be really good for Conduit here. I think it's pretty good into what IG's wanted to
Yes.
do with their go forward team comp that they're drafting so far. But I mean, I think if you draft
you
one of
better
these
win lane.
enchanters, if you draft one of these enchanters like for the side of Conduit, you got to draft like the Ornn top lane or something like that. But like you said, IG, you're going Caitlyn, you're going Karma. You are telling Lost you're going to be camping bot lane this whole game, because if we do not win this bot lane, we are going to be absolutely useless.
Oh man, Caitlyn Karma. I mean, I'm a big fan of pushing bot lanes, but I mean, has any of these games really been decided by a lane 2v2 win? To give me the Lulu to pair with the Sivir, I need to see some form of frontline here. Whether you take the Ornn here for Conduit yourself, whether you go something like a Scion maybe. I think that playing for like a lane, like a blind pick, try to win lane, let's go Camille if they go Ornn, to predict the Ornn. I don't think it looks good. I think it's bad against the Cassiopeia. I don't think you have like one good target to land onto. Maokai does fit that bill, so I guess it could be Maokai jungle, Volibear top, or it could be, the alternative vice versa in that. But for IG, what do you go here? I mean, I feel like it's the same. I think Ornn's a good shout, like you mentioned, immobile carries. Set. Oh, man.
I don't like that as much. I feel the same way you do about that hovering meta. And I mean, I would like a better engage option. Like,
Oh, God.
all right, we are just going all in on scrappy fighting from the side of IG with this comp that they've drafted. Yes, Darius is good when you pair it with Karma because you just get that bonus movement speed, but like, if this Darius or Caitlyn doesn't get ahead, it kind of just feels like IG's comp is just gonna fall flat on its face and kind of do nothing until a Conduit is drafted. And they have a Sivir, they have a Lux. These champions scale really well, and eventually Lux is just going to clear every single wave every 25 seconds with that final spark. There's going to be nothing that IG can do about that. I'm really liking IG's draft in this game number 3. Whoever's drafting for them, that man needs a raise.
Mean Conduit? You love Conduit's draft?
Yeah, did I say IG? Am I on drugs?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Okay, I meant Conduit.
I agree. I think my one gripe, maybe, we'll have to see how it plays out, is the Lux. The reason that I have a slight problem with the Lux is, I mean, great time against Cassiopeia, great time against Caitlyn Karma later on, is like a roast chicken sitting on a plate for Vi to ult, right? Just has absolutely zero counterplay if Vi just smells Lux around a corner. Lux is dead, most likely. I mean, it can go Banshees. Do you really want to be going Banshees this game? That kind of sucks. I love the Lulu against the Vi, right? Vi ults in, you ult the target as soon as she lands. The Sivir, I mean, there aren't really great ways to force Black Shield. That was another reason I didn't get to mention why I loved the Ornn shout, is that it's another way to either break the shield from Sivir or to help Leia. Vi ults, shield's gone, Ornn ult's coming through now. Whatever way you want to put it. Really, Cassiopeia is not going to force Black Shield. Vi is, right? There's no real CC follow-up, though. Darius, maybe, I mean, I don't know. Ghost player Darius, is it going to be Deadman's Plate with Ghost, run down the Sivir? Sivir ult is going to help get the team away, Shirelia's from Lulu, the same thing. I think the Maokai actually does so much work here because there's no tank for IG. Who's tanking Maokai ult this game? Whoever it is not going to have a good time because they're getting Volibear ulted, Lux rooted. Sivir is, pressing R, making the team go forward. Yeah, I agree with you. I will be finding out after this game who Conduit's drafter is because I'm super impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing I'm really hoping to see this game, if Lost can bait the spell shield out of Chrome alone when he goes to Q in and smites him right before he makes contact to still get the knockup.
Yeah.
That would be sick. Honestly, that'd be some skill.
Canyon.
I'd be excited to see that. But the only way we're gonna get to see all this action, and if Conduit can get the clean 3-0, or if Imperial Gaming can start the reverse sweep, is when we come back from a break after wait for spectator delay. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are on the rift for game number 3 between Conduit, Kraken, and Imperial Gaming. Conduit, Kraken trying to get a clean 3-0 while IG is trying to look for that reverse sweep. I'm Chong Somo, and I'm still joined by Beto for this best of 5 series.
I'm excited. These have been a lot of fighting in these games. Conduit took that last one very easily. Got a bit of poke here onto the mid lane, getting that ward like they've done. But no trader vision just yet from IG. A bit slow into this walk into bot. They will find the ward. We're talking a bit about Caitlyn Karma on the break there. I think, yeah, I love Caitlyn lanes like with poke. Normally, Caitlyn Lux, Caitlyn Karma has been played, and I think Worlds 22 had Caitlyn Karma. Those two, like Caitlyn Karma, Caitlyn Lux, in those games recently as well. I think the best Caitlyn Lux in the world is Guma Carrier. Obviously, like T1's having a bit of a synergy route right now, or rut, sorry. But I think that they're the best Caitlyn Lux in the entire world. I've seen them play against bot lanes and like just smash bot tail all game, rock up to team fights, and just lose the game because it's just not enough. And that's like the best players in the world that play these picks. Obviously, you're playing against good teams too, but if it evens out, is IG going to get a lead on this Caitlyn Karma? If yes, can you transition that into some great mid-game team fights? If no, then you've drafted like a hard lane win to not win lane. And your team fights are infinitely harder because you don't even have the lead anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, to touch on that point, the other thing is like, yeah, if you get a lead on this Caitlyn, how big is the lead? Is it enough to fully push the Sivir out of the game? Because Sivir scales so incredibly well, and everybody knows the Sivir of old, the 500 CS, you win the game. If they can't get Chrome that far behind, it is pointless to draft this bot lane. And the level 2 advantage came out for Chrome and Raven, and Ziggy took almost his entire HP bar on that level discrepancy. This is already starting to look rough in the bot lane for IG.
I understand picking the Vi on a R1 there, but are you in a situation where you're scared of Caitlyn so much to the point where you need it to take it in the top 2 and then give over Lux? Is that, were you looking for Caitlyn Lux? Do you now feel really rough because Lux has been taken away? Maybe you wanted the Braum instead. How bad is your position because you forced that Lux first pick there, Ghost out from Darius here, will force the flash out of Coach. But honestly, I mean, Maokai's looking fine in this lane. Loses flash, sure, but the trades have been going pretty well for him.
Yeah, Maokai, super strong early game. Like, he does way more damage than you ever expect in the first couple of levels, and Katori is learning that very quickly. The biggest thing about Maokai, he's got mana issues. We can see Coach Silent K has basically used his entire HP, his mana bar to do half of Katori's HP bar, and is going to have to recall because of that. And Coach is down.
You have Fimbulwinter?
Fimbulwinter is not an item anymore, my friend. That item got nerfed into the actual ground. Like, yeah, you can still go the tier for the mana, but another big thing about this top lane is like, oh, never mind, Azure Fire is in some trouble in the mid lane. GG's looking to get that stun forward. They're trying to get the flash stun into the light binding, into the lucid singularity. First blood over to Sloth, and that is a great start of the game for Conduit Kraken on match point, series point at that.
Minazor doesn't have any time to flash. The flash stun comes out. It is going to be tier picked up for Maokai, so at least going it for the lane might transition it into the Fimbulwinter that you're very much not a fan of. I guess that makes sense, like he has to have some mana to help him, but the healing for the Maokai is extremely significant in lane when he's just brawling a melee, right? And in jungle, you don't notice it as much because jungle gets inherent healing, right? In support, you don't notice it as much because you're not smacking the melee. There is no melee, right? You're getting hit by the AD carry, you're playing in bushes looking for engages. In top lane, you are hitting them the whole time and hitting the wave the whole time. You're healing constantly. And yeah, Darius already having, I mean, like up in CS, but like, I don't know. For me, with Darius, if you're not just smashing lane by 10 minutes, you should have gone something else, I think. Because you're in a position where you aren't levying the Darius advantage. I don't think that it's great. You're amazing against the Sivir, against the Lulu. And you're picking it 10th. Is it going to find the value that it needs to? I don't really know. I don't think it will. But I mean, we'll have to see if Tori can prove that he can find the value. Dragon has spawned. Gonna be Infernal Drake for the first one. His Caitlyn Karma is not looking hot though.
Yeah, and I also really do not like that Ziggy went with this cold pickup. That is lowering the power of this Caitlyn lane and saying,
Yeah.
I'm fine with just going even in CS. That is not what you want to be doing as Caitlyn. I like it out of Chrome alone. I hate it out of Ziggy, but in the meantime, now Coach K is in trouble in the top lane. He has no flash. A nice apprehend out of Katoria, immediately followed up by the Q of Lost, but a nice two-man Bramble Smash gets him out of that play in the top lane. Chrome alone took a little bit of damage in the bot lane, but it did not matter. Now they're looking for this dive. Chrome alone is level 6 now.
Oh, no.
He's going to get that twisted advance and just completely cancel the engage out of Lost and Katori. Conduit, Kraken looking super clean in this game number 3. Getting that first dragon for themselves. Jesus Juice counter jungling away what is available to himself, and since the answer is nothing, gonna look for the recall. Now Paradigm Shift gets some nice damage onto Raven, but it does not matter because Chrome alone is trading back onto Ziggy very effectively, and it's just looking super clean for Conduit Kraken here. They're looking really calm, cool, composed, and collected in this game number 3.
This would be a great time for Jesus Juice to walk up to cover this dive if he's able to. Looks like IG are still looking. They want to get a punish here. No Maokai ult. Can they find the kill?
Oh my gosh, a nice Bramble Smash on the Lost, but he doesn't root him under turret, but it does not matter because Katori falls, and then the bottom 5, the snipe out of Sloth, and that is 3 kills for Conduit Kraken, the feat of warfare for them, and Coach Silent K played that flawlessly.
It's so hard to dive the Maokai. I mean, he Bramble Smashes the Vipe, I believe the Vault Breaker. Unfortunately, then you're diving Maokai, right? He's got the immune. He's got the immune. You can't do that. Both, I thought, okay, fine, 1 for 0. That's unfortunate. No, the tip top of Sloth's ult.
Never mind. In the meantime, in bot lane, Chrome is getting CC down, and everything is going to be used on him. Even the barrier does not matter. It is down goes the Sivir. Flash used by Paradigm Shift to secure that route, and then the Petrifying Gaze used by Azure to make sure that kill goes down. Chrome loses Flash, loses barrier. Raven even uses Exhaust, but it does not matter at the end of the day.
IG are trying to find what they can, to find something, but I don't know if it's enough at this point. They find the summoner spells off of Chrome. A revisit is needed. Vi has level 6, now has the cease and desist available. Obviously, the spell shield from Sivir will matter in that engage, but more is needed from IG. Because they need to win this early game harder. They're not winning yet. Grubs getting looked at, which is a good start. Supporters roamed up to take these grubs. And this helps the Darius push, helps the Caitlyn push, which he's not doing because, we aren't playing around the Caitlyn enough. I need more from Conduit.
Yeah, and I also don't like this play by IG. Like, yes, you want grubs because the comp you drafted, but your Caitlyn is now going to suffer in this bot lane because of it. And now you see Jesus Juice is even here. Oh, no, Ziggy is going to get dove. Jesus Juice is level 6. He's not even going to ult the turret because Ziggy decided to run out of range of it. And it does not matter. He is down goes the Caitlyn, the champion you need to get ahead early. This is coming up Conduit in this early game. They lose the grubs, but they get the kill. They get to play bot lane, and they are looking good in this game number 3.
What IG need to do there is, you mentioned it quite briefly there. You've left the Caitlyn alone. What they need to do, IG, is lane swap to top against the Maokai. Can Darius lane against bot? If he can't, you're in a bad situation in this game. But it's not as bad as what just happened, where you've left your Caitlyn alone. She dies, gets dove, down a ton of CS now, more plates as well. You lane swap there up to top, let the Darius kind of
and now
sack it
Azure's in trouble, gets CC'd down, gets hit by the Funnel Spark.
Wow.
Lucinescent Singularity also hits it. It does not matter. Then he hits the Petrifying Gaze because Jesus Juice was out of it and gets the kill onto Azure. This is looking like the end of IG's playoff run. The way Conduit Kraken has been playing in these 3 games, and especially so far in this game number 3. 10 minutes, up 2,000 gold, 5 kills to 1, looking calm, cool, and poised, looking to get ready for their matchup against Conduit Flux. And oh
Oh,
my gosh, the
no.
ulti used by Coach Silent K, and Katori flashes into it and uses Ghost, and it did not even matter because Coach had a flash of his own. Coach Silent K is showing off his Maokai mastery in this game so far, man.
Yeah, it's becoming desperate for IG. Both summoners used for Katori to try to find a kill, and is he able to get a kill at all, even if he, lands on top?
No, Lost is down here now, and Chrome Alone is so low. The ultimate is already used out of Illicit Raven, but it does not matter because the root is also there. Chrome Alone is going to go down. Ziggy did take a lot of damage, but it did not matter because now Raven is in trouble. Lost doing a lot of damage on the backside. You see, Azure is also roaming for this one. Sloth is going to take a recall. That was a little over-ambitious by the side of Conduit Kraken in the bot lane, but once again, Caitlyn only got an assist. The kill went over to Paradigm Shift.
Yeah.
That is absolutely atrocious for the side of IG. You need to get this Caitlyn to start having gold in this game. Your Caitlyn is even, oh no, Azure Fire in trouble again. Immediately flashes away, but it does not matter because you can't run from the angry polar bear. Jesus Juice on a killing spree.
Doesn't even need ult there for Sloth. The CC
Coach
is
Silent
enough.
K is just CCing, is just bullying Lost by himself. The dragon goes to him, and now Ziggy is going to end up falling again. A nice two-man light binding into the final spark. Ziggy is down. Lost, yes, you got the dragon, but you do not have your life. Coach Silent K picks it back up, and now Paradigm Shift is getting chased down. Jesus has the ultimate, can disable this turret. He's going to get rooted up, but it does not matter because he can just ult in and finish this kill off, and he does just that. Conduit Kraken 9-2.
I seldom like calling games.
Oh, wait.
in very
Sloth
rough
is in trouble,
positions.
and he's down.
Oh,
Katori's
shut
shut down, and I was chasing down onto Chrome Alone, but Coach Silent K is here. The tree is running as fast as he can, but he can't catch the Darius because he's an angry man.
Oh, that has breathed some life back into IG. A big gold injection over to Katori. Is it enough? Is he the carry? I mean, it's turning into a 1v9 game for Katori. You need to be the only one doing anything. And still, it's not enough. Like, look at the gold compared to the rest of the members of Conduit. He's not significantly ahead. He's still down on the mid. He's even with the top lane after a massive shutdown, down against jungle. I think, like I was going to say, I seldom like calling games, over or very, very difficult at least. But your early game comp is losing very hard. Coach,
Lost
getting
is
ganked
up
here.
in the top lane, and we've seen this one before, but he does not have ultimate this time. He gets some nice healing back to Katori, and he has a red buff himself, so he is trading back rather effectively. He hits a nice Bramble Smash, and he's running for his life. Juice is up in the top lane, run up here and look for the play. Katori is in trouble. Katori is down. Juice able to turn this one around, and running away is Lost. Man, Conduit Kraken turn that one up. Coach Silent K on this Maokai, man, is unkillable. He is just outplaying Katori and Lost every single chance they try to look for him.
I'm fairly sure Coach Silent K cancelled cease and desist with his root there. I didn't even know that was possible to do that. It's because he went untargetable, right? At the right time?
Yeah. Because
is that what he did?
It's the same interaction as
That
Tom
is
Kenchi.
disgusting.
It's the same interaction. Man, Coach Silent K might just be MVP for this game. The way he's playing this game number 3, he might be MVP for the game, but I mean, man, this Maokai performance is something else, especially he got counterpicked by this Darius, let's remember. And he says, I do not care. And he is just absolutely running Katori's pockets in this game number 3, man. It is something to be seen.
Not only that, but it's Cloud Soul. Take a look at the left side of your screen. Look at how many members there use that Cloud Soul to its utmost performance. Maokai with Cloud Soul, Siva with Cloud Soul, Volibear with Cloud Soul. Disgusting all around. And you're playing Caitlyn. You cannot move. Enemy team presses Maokai ult, Siva ult. You are dead in 2 seconds. You cannot live. You can flash. You can peel as much as you want. It's done. If Cloud Soul is taken by Conduit, the game is just over on the spot. IG have very little chances here. They need to get some gold into Katori, the same one to Cassiopeia, and try to take some really great team fights. But I don't know if any of that is going to be enough. Can you find the gold? 6-0 Volibear. This Maokai is completely halting anything that IG want to do.
Also, let's just talk about the first item that Raven chose to build. It is that Shirelia's battle song. You thought
that's
you
what I was
couldn't
saying,
run.
baby.
You thought you couldn't run away from Volibear Silver before. Imagine when they're also being sped up by the war cry of this Lulu's battle song. But now they're trying to look for this Herald, and I don't think IG wants this one. They're trying to get some damage on Jesus Juice's Azure Fire, but he is not taking too much damage. There are 5 members up here. The first turret goes to the way of Conduit, Kraken in the bot lane, and now Sloth is keeping up to this play. A 3-man ult out of Coach Silent K, and he's in the middle of all 5 members. It does not matter, and the Petrifying Gaze hits on the 2, but it does not matter because Jesus Juice is causing mayhem in the backside of this team fight, and everybody on the side of IG is wiped off the face of the map. A clean 5-0 ace team fight. 15 minutes into the game, Conduit Kraken gets the bot turret, gets the Rift Herald, gets the top turret, gonna get the mid turret as well. I think this is the end of Imperial Gaming in Blue Water Platinum.
20 seconds on this next Drake. A big pickup for Conduit. I mean, I'm not always a fan of saying draft gap, but this game is a massive draft gap. IG can't do anything. Coach Silent K finds a great ult, hits everybody, flashes the Caitlyn traps so that he can get some CC onto the backline and buy some time. And by that time, Sloth's TP'd over, has the ult on himself, and then, yeah, the movement speed from this Shirelia's plus the Sivir. We were talking about, counter matchups for, Sivir and the Vi, and can Lux live versus Vi? It's not going to matter. That doesn't matter. Because Conduit are just running their whole team comp down your throat, and you don't have a single second to breathe.
Yeah, and I don't think it's the question of if this Lux can survive from the Vi. I think the question is now, can IG survive from Coach Silent K's Maokai? Because he hit a 3-man Nature's Grasp in that team fight, and then immediately just flashed it in. Sloth just sniped Ziggy. Oh my god, this is just a slaughter at this point in the game. I like you said, I don't like to call games early, but I don't see how IG can come back in this series.
You need a serious throw from Conduit right now. Volibear taking the 1v2.
Yeah, sorry, I zoned out there for a second, but down goes Jesus Juice, but in the backside, Chrome Alone is there. Paradigm Shift is trying to get the stun onto him, and now Boss is the one in trouble going in onto Alyssa Raven, but that is not going to be okay. The light binding misses, and everybody is just going to be walking away from this play, and they get the pick onto Jesus.
Oh boy.
Coach Silent K almost solo killed Katori. What happened up here? But now the Rift Herald is spawned in the bot lane. Lost is looking to go in. They get the knock up onto Sloth, but it does not matter because the Lulu is riding the Rift Herald and then steps onto the trap. But a huge Final Spark is able to pick up 1 kill, and they're able to stay alive. No, Ziggy and Paradigm Shift are the ones in trouble. The turret's going to go down, and pressing forward is Conduit Kraken. And Coach Silent K has forced Katori all the way to the tier 2, and they are riding this Rift Herald again into the tier 2 turret. And it dies. It dies right before it gets the hit. But the light binding is hit onto Azure Fire. Azure Fire is going low. They're trying to get the final damage, but there is no final spark to be coming out. It is almost off a cooldown, but does not matter. And able to limp away is Paradigm and Azure. And the final spark is hit and dies. The bird slot hits the final spark and calls a final breath for Paradigm Shift. This Lux is going off this game.
I assume Scorch plus Malignant's burn there, plus the Storm Surge hit at the end finds the damage. I would have loved it if Chrome Alone had tried to drift the Herald to mid there, hit the mid tier 2 there instead of going for the tier 3. But this Lux, I mean, I'm a doubter. I'm a Lux hater for sure. Lux mid, I'm not a fan. I love it when it's 6-1 with 10 stacks upgraded Medjais now, continuing stacking that up. Atakan spawns in 45 seconds. What do you do as IG? Is there any wiggle room? You're losing top side lane now. You're getting shoved in, losing tier 2 and bot at 19 minutes. No Baron. You can't go anywhere in your jungle. You can't make any plays. We'll see if this play works off though. A full commit over to Coach.
and he's just gonna hit a 2-man ult, but then here comes the cease and desist, and it does not matter. He is shut down. His first death on this Maokai, and it took 3 members and 2 ultimates to be able to stop that tree from doing what he wants to do on Summoner's Rift. But in the meantime, like you said, it is hard for IG to do anything. They have to look for plays like that before an objective is up and use it to their advantage. Because now this Otacon is up. Their whole bot side jungle is getting taken away. Lost is going to smite away the wolf. He's going to look to engage onto Chrome. Chrome using the spell shield, but no engage coming out. They can just walk down to this bot lane, push this wave out, and go to Otacon. Yes, you might lose your mid lane tier 1 for that, but honestly, who cares at this point? But IG is looking for a pick. They're looking for a play in transition, but Conduit Kraken playing smart and not giving them the option for it.
Yeah, they don't even give the opportunity for a flip or a steal. They don't give IG the chance to take the team fight. Because of that, Coach Silent K is able to respawn, walks back up the top lane, still has TP. Yeah, they find the kill. They get a shutdown. Does it really matter? Not really. This is a good objective bounty, sure. You're still significantly down in this game. You know, 1K bounty across the team is nice. The gold lead is still, it's still meaningful in favor of Conduit, and it will continue to be meaningful until multiple fights get thrown in a row or a really bad timing. You know, you get Ace, lose Otacon and Baron, and they're both objective bounty somehow. We're looking to make a play back on Coach
Silent K again. He is CC'd up, and they're trying to use everything onto him. He gets a Bramble Smash, and it does not matter because he is pulled back in from the upper hand. He's trying to run away. The Ace of the Hole is coming out. There are 4 people in this top lane, and immediately we can see on the bot side that Otacon is in the sights for Conduit Kraken. Sloth is literally trying to solo it right now, and there is nothing that IG can do about this one. They're trying to get some advantage for their team, and they're saying Katori is the option for this game if we want to win, but I don't know how much this Darius is going to be able to do. You got the second kill on the coach, but you lose the Otacon for it, and now you can try to push in the mid lane and get this tier 1 for yourself, but I think that Conduit can get there in time to defend it, and then they should have advantage for this dragon that spawns in 10 seconds.
They can kill the wave fairly easily with Siva. Locks going up to the top lane, can ult the wave away very easily as well to stop Katuri getting this tier 2. Dragon has spawned. It's sole point. If Conduit are able to pick this up, Coach Silent K has respawned once again and still has TP for himself. The base from Katori is pretty late. He's going to be a while before he's back around this dragon pit. And like I said, this Maokai can join at any time.
Yeah, we can see Katori running down the bot lane, trying to group up with his team and trying to do the split push thing of just taking what is available. And the Petrifying Gaze hits onto nobody. The Light Binding barely misses, but that means IG is just going to have to concede this one. There is going to be no counterplay for this. The Dragon is being started up. Chrome alone can literally just walk mid lane if he wants to and just be like, you guys got this. I'm just going to clear this wave. And we can see that that is what they're doing on the side of Conduit Kraken. Azure got a little ambitious with the Petrifying Gaze, to say the least, and now he's up in top lane. He's going to look for the play on the Coach Silent K. Coach Silent K can't do anything about this right now. He's trying his best to get this one out. He does hit it, but the Twin Fangs have sunk in and gets the kill onto this Maokai. Maokai caught again, but now, oh my gosh, God, on this map is this Caitlyn Sloth, the American sniper, getting another 100-0 burst on the AD carry through barrier and through Karma Shield.
Where's my Caitlyn Karma cleanse or Mikhail's? Because that's the only way that this game continues. Coach Silent K says, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me once, fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times though, maybe we go 4 times, and maybe 4th time's the charm, and he's allowed to go back up to top lane and push this wave out for free. This Lux is completely off the rails. Conduit is turning into Thanos fairly quickly, gathering all of their Infinity Stones. The one over in the top lane, it's got some polishing to do in terms of his decisions. In the later stage of this game, he has played incredibly well before this. But yeah, this Caitlyn is 2 shades away from being utterly useless.
I mean, I think the third death, it's hard to outplay as Coach Silent K. You have, like, no magic resist, so if you ever up against Azure, you just get to do nothing, and that's kind of what happened. But, like, also, they have wasted so much time to get 3 kills on you. The rest of your map is just so accelerated that it really
yeah.
doesn't matter. You have a Lux who is 1 kill or assist off of having that 15 stack Magi's. Like, Sloth is so strong in this game. Chrome is half an item up on Ziggy right now.
Oh,
Ziggy lost
that
half
was
his health from his final spark. It was Ziggy. Ziggy's at half health again. Like Sloth is a better sniper than Caitlyn, and she has an ultimate that is it's
Unmissable.
literally unmissable. Like, Sloth is playing this Lux so good, and I know you're a certified
Oh,
Lux hater, as you said.
Try
But
it again, I guess.
oh man, they're going for Coach Silent K
Sloth
again.
time.
He's gonna ult, but he is gonna get CC'd up. And hey, guess what?
No.
Guess what? He's running. He's trying to get out. He's gonna get CC'd, but the
Run,
Baron went
Baron.
over to his team. He still hasn't died. He's still running. He's still trying, but it does not matter.
Oh,
Katori
no.
gets him with the ult, but it does not matter either. Coach Silent K says, "Kill me once, we get something. Kill me twice, maybe a misstep. Kill me 3 times, we get Otacon. Kill me a 4th, that's Baron and probably the game."
Soul is 2 minutes away. We were talking about Cloud Soul earlier for this team, and it's looking very likely that Cloud Soul will be in the near future for Conduit. But for right now, it's this inhib turret on the top side.
If Sloth hits Ziggy with a final spark at this point, he is just dead.
He's gone.
Ziggy
He's
has
dead.
no HP, and oh man, I'm waiting to see if it happens. But Sloth is just taking a recall. Man, this is so rough for IG. I mean, they're making okay plays. Like, you have to be cross mapping at this point to be able to start
Sure.
getting yourself back into this game. That's really what they're doing. And they're like, we might lose Baron for this play, but if we can get the kill quickly, we might be able to contest. But Coach bought so much time that they weren't able to, which made it even worse for IG, because not only did they lose the Baron, but they lost a top turret as well. They got the push in the mid lane for the side of Kraken, and there was just no counterplay to be had because they couldn't kill Coach at all. And also, I don't like this Eclipse on the Vi at all at this point in the game. You're 26 minutes.
Yeah.
Why are you building Eclipse?
I mean, not only that, but Last didn't have the best game last game. He's not having an amazing game this game either. Like, really can't find any targets for this Vi that aren't the tree. I mean, he's brought his axe cutting tree. And
They're looking for the tree again, and Azure's behind them, but I don't think it matters against the Petrifying Gaze on G's Juice, but G's Juice isn't even going down. The ultimate is coming out from the Maokai. It's going to hit on to Lost, and then the Mikhails is used onto the jungler. Oh no, if Ziggy gets hit by a light binding, there's no Mikhails anymore. It was purchased, but it wasn't used on the correct target, and now the Siege is coming out for the side of Conduit Kraken. At least they have the Cassiopeia who can deal with these waves rather effectively, and now Lost is looking for a play on the wraparound, but nothing going to come out. 18 seconds until Cloud Soul for the side of Conduit Kraken, and they are Sloth is waiting for a pick. He is waiting for somebody to face check him right now.
Vision.
He is waiting.
Bot side vision.
Oh my god. If Ziggy walks up.
Like, they just have vision of everything. You can never walk in. Baron waves are pushing in. You know, you've lost all your towers. You have no access to your jungle ever. If you walk in blind, anybody at this point is most likely getting a one shot. Especially, I mean, if it's Ziggy or this Karma, that person's probably getting solo killed by a Sloth. Cloud Soul on the back of Conduit. Not only Cloud Soul, 4 Cloud Drakes. Look at how fast he is!
And Paradigm Shift, used the flash. He got hit by the final spike, has to use heal, puts the shields on himself, and still almost fell down. Oh my gosh. This Sloth damage. I want to see him fully stack this Mikhails, if I'm being honest here.
I want to see him one-shot someone with just ult. This Cloud Soul, you saw how fast that bear was. That is terrifying.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Chroma Load is just clearing waves in Katori's face, and Katori and Lost are both bot lane for some reason, and they're losing the inhibitor in the top side. Now, Paradigm Shift is chasing forward, trying to look for something, but it does not matter because Conduit is too fast, and they just run out.
The base is being slowly broken by Conduit. 2 minutes on Baron. I mean, maybe in some games you would see that as a grace period. Okay, we have 2 minutes until until we have to fight. No, that's not true. Conduit are taking the fight to you now. You don't have any time left. Something like counter jungling happening there. Who'd that hit?
Azure.
It's
Hit
some
Azure.
damage.
Azure's a little tanky. He's got
He's got health. He's got a lot of health.
He's got the Leandries, he's got Archangels, he's got the other item that you want that I can't think of the name of.
Bloodletter's Curse. I like
Yeah,
that one.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
okay.
love it here though. I'm not a huge fan. Who are you shredding the protections for?
Himself.
Yourself? I guess. I don't know. I feel like the people that I like that on for yourself, like
Amumu.
Rumble, Gwen, works really well because you're hitting quite consistently, so the prots get shredded quite quickly. Skazip, do you need that much pen this early in the game? I don't know if you necessarily do. To be honest, the builds don't really matter when your AD carry is 0-5 and is getting one shot by literally everything. This Darius has really not found the value that it needs. The Vi as well. It's really not doing anything. None of these season assists are hitting onto crucial targets at all. I mean, I'm waiting for this Lux one shot.
He has this Shadow Flame now. He is ready for these one shots. He also has a Sorceress Pot in his inventory that he can just pop at any time and look for the one shot as well. But now they're just sieging this down. There is some good wave clear, and Ziggy is dead. There it is. Light Binding in the final spark.
It's just gone.
Goodbye. Through barrier as well. That's with the barrier summoner spell being
Mikhail's
used.
is available, by the way, for my support. Who, if that's me, I'm pretty mad.
I'm pinging it. I'm pinging it.
It's still available, by the way. He has ult back again. He can do it again.
Yeah, and now the siege is just relentless for the side of Conduit Kraken because they have this Sim and because they have this Lux, they can just perma clear waves every single time that it comes out of the base for IG. IG is just stuck in their base, and now on the top side, well, excuse me, Coach and Silent K are just split pushing. They take the inhibitor turret, they're taking the inhibitor. The three-man unit of Sloth, Chrome, and Raven are just clearing every single wave. They're going to look for an engage now. Lost to use the Q to get forward, but it does not matter because it does not connect onto anybody. Now Coach and Jesus Juice can just walk into mid lane. They can tower dive this if they really, truly wanted to because they have the Volibear ult that can disable the turret, but they're not going to. They're just going to play this one out. I think Ziggy autoed with a headshot Coach Silent K for not even a full chunk of his HP bar.
Yeah, this Caitlyn is very far off being strong. I mean, Caitlyn's one of those champions, right, where... close. Jesus.
Oh, it just missed on there, everybody. Oh, no, Coach okay, Coach okay. Okay. I thought they were going for... He literally does not care at this point in the game. But he did upgrade to that Thimble Winter. I think the nerfs to the item kind of made it a very ineffective
22
item.
seconds.
Yeah, welcome to Lux, ladies and gentlemen, and... Yeah, I to touch on like the Thimble Winter, like I was talking about earlier in the game, I think the nerfs that happened to it a few patches ago made it a very ineffective item. I think the only time I see it built anymore is on like Tarek support because it's just a really good item for him. But otherwise, I've seen it kind of just fall out of favor for a lot of people. But it makes a lot of sense on Maokai in the top lane specifically because of how much you're using these spells. You do need that mana, so. If you're going to just fully stack the tier, might as well upgrade it and get the stats from the item instead of selling it and having it be kind of worthless in a way. But I'm okay with this game. But Sloth is... Oh, no. Lost in the back line. They're flashing forward. They have caught out Sloth, but Sloth gets a flash away. He's being CC'd by it. Now Katori's in the backside. He gets some nice 3-man upper hand. Azure flashes forward. Doesn't hit the ultimate onto anybody. The final spark hits on the city. Hits onto everybody. That is everybody going down. A double kill for the side of Sloth. A triple kill for Chrome alone. And that is a 3-0 series victory for Conduit Kraken. They have set up their match against their sister team in Conduit Flux that they beat all the way back in week number 1. Looking to repeat that and get away to the finals.
That was, I'm fairly sure I'll have to go look at that back. I'm pretty sure that Sloth 100-0 Ziggy at the end there. Fully stacked Magi, Shadow Flame, upgraded boots for the more pen. I mean, still didn't even have like Rabadons. He could have done more. Could have gone towards, oh, hang on, we're getting it up here. It's like, we're going to have a quick look as we take a nice replay. Blue Water, ladies and gentlemen. Some great tech. Right, so the flash onto Sloth, right? Where's the damage on him? Polymorphed. Not, like, Lars gets polymorphed. Here comes the ult here. So rooted by Maokai, boom.
Yeah,
and he's gone.
Yep, oh my god. Oh my gosh. That is actually insane. But Conduit Kraken in this game number 3 looked dominant. Like game number 1, barely able to come back in that one. Game number 2, little flip-floppy at some points, but game number 3 was just pure domination here, Beto. And now I got to ask you the question I normally ask Toki B. For the series as a whole, for the side of Conduit Kraken, who is your MVP of the series?
It's hard. I think that for me, it's between 3. I think it's between the top 3. It could be Coach, right? Because of just the way that he's played his weak sides really effectively. You know, the Mundo kind of got stunk on all game, came back late game and did well, right? The Maokai, it didn't get beaten, but he kept the team at bay. He kept IG at arm's length at all times, did what he needed to do, and looked great. I mean, it could be MVP to whoever's doing the draft. I think that Jesus Juice had a great Pantheon game, like just an outstanding Pantheon game. But I do think I might be giving it to Sloth here. I mean, that performance on Lux was outstanding. I think the Ari was great too. Like, didn't make any mistakes, really. Found always waiting like cooldowns, layering the CC with the Pantheon, with the Alistar. And the game 1 was the victor, right? Bided his time, waited, got 2 massive shutdowns, got a big team fight at the end of the game. I think he just played solid the whole set.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you on Sloth for the fact that in game number 1, he single-handedly saved that game for his team when the Nexus was being pushed. He got those 2 big 1,000 gold shutdowns and then was able to be the reason they won those later game team fights. If he didn't get that gold, they would have lost. Yes, you could say that like maybe somebody engaged out of Raven in that one or were for it, but also it's hard to vote against Jesus Juice the way he played in game number 2 and 3 on the Volibear in the early game. Really set Sloth up for success on that Lux. Yes, Sloth did big boom boom snipe shot damage, which is always fun to see, but like Jesus, you set him up for all of that. His Pantheon game was so good. So I think personally, I'm voting for Jesus Juice for MVP of this series.
I can completely see that. Let me just quickly go back and have a look here. Who did he play in game 1? Because I've forgotten. I can't remember the jungler. Who was it? That's not that game. That is a different game. Here, this is the game. He played. Hang on. He played
Xin Zhao.
Jin Zhao. Yes, he had a good Jin Zhao game too. I definitely agree. I think for me, it's between those two, either two. So I think it's I'm happy either way. They both played really well together.
Yeah, I think they really did, especially with Sloth being a sub player and playing an off role at that. He's normally an 80 carry man from what I saw on his op.gg and played really good in this series, played really well with Jesus Juice. And all of Conduit just looked rather good in this series as a whole. Oh, thank you. But yeah, I think MVP of the series is going to go to Jesus Juice of Conduit Kraken. Kraken getting a 3-0 victory here over IG and setting themselves up to play their sister team next week in Conduit Flux. Should be a great matchup. Really excited to see that one. But we're going to be wrapping it up here on the Blue Otter Platinum stream here tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank Beto for stepping in and being my co-caster for this series. I want to thank my producer who's also subbing in for this series, and Braku. It's been great casting and having you guys produce with me. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you to everybody watching. Come back tomorrow for gold and diamond action on both Blue Otter, this channel, and Blue Otter 2, the secondary channel. Should be some great matches in those as well. I hope everybody has a great night. Drive home safe if you've been drinking. Handy keys off to somebody else, and we'll see you all next time.